Club can't even handle me right now. What's up, chat? What's going on, guys? Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday. Sunday. Fun day. Oh, I got my coffee ready. I ate a little while ago. Nice and full. Oh, we got a lot on the plate today. We got a lot on the plate. But before we even get into it, I mean, Mets lose a tough one to the Angels last night in overtime. Not overtime, extra innings in the 10th. Couldn't score the run, unfortunately, to make it 4-3 before their turn. But of course, they can score the run. You know, we can get 9 hits, but you can't string them in for more than 3 hits. It is, or for more than 3 runs. It is what it is. But Lakers win. Lakers advanced a couple nights ago. We love that. We got 2 Game 7s tonight, right? We got Magic and the Pistons that are currently on like right now. And then do we also have, what's the other one? Is it a Game 7? It is Game 7. Raptors Cavs. And then for NHL, dude, tonight's Canadians Lightning game is gonna be kind of dope. That's gonna be kind of insane. I'm not gonna lie. And then you have the first game of Wild Avalanche, which I think is gonna be a really good series. So I've kind of been getting into hockey. I'm not really a big hockey guy, but dude, playoff hockey is insane. Playoff hockey is so much fun to watch. It is so much better than basketball when it comes to like watching NBA, because NBA, you feel like nobody tries on defense, and it pisses me off so much. Like, I'm sorry. It's like, dude, play some basketball. I played basketball my entire life, basically. Play some D. Get back on D. Do something. It's like after like kids in college, March Madness and stuff like that, you see the tight defense, the close quarters, all of it. NBA, dude, they're just Euro tripping around everybody. They're walking with 4 steps without dribbling. It's just like, I love basketball. It's like, what happened, man? I miss the early 2000s, the Kobe era, the Shaq era, early Tim Duncan, LeBron before he became LeBron, D Wade, Miami Heat by himself. Game was more fun. There's more defense. Now it's all about shooting threes, and ever since like Steph Curry, I love Chef, don't get me wrong. But dude, you didn't have to make the whole game all about just shooting threes and no defense and offense. Like, come on now. But I don't know. Pistons, if the Pistons lose to the Magic as the 1 seed in the very first round, whew, that's gonna spell some trouble for Detroit. I swear. Could you imagine in back-to-back years, like in like the last 2 years, you had a Super Bowl winning Detroit Lions team get absolutely ran through by a rookie quarterback, Jaden Daniels, and the Washington Commanders 2 years ago. And then they couldn't make it back this year to the playoffs. And then you go ahead and you look at it and you see the number 1 overall seed in the East having to go 7 against the Orlando Magic and Paolo Banchero. Like, and Fournier, who's not even healthy. It's like, or not Fournier, fucking Franz Wagner, who's not even healthy right now. He's been like on and off the whole series. And Suggs. It's like, dude, what are you guys doing? You have Cade Cunningham back. He's healthy. You guys have Durant. You guys should have swept this series, genuinely speaking. And you guys are in Game 7 against the Orlando fucking Magic. Hey, props to Orlando Magic. Drafted Shaq. We love that. We love them. They also gave us they also gave Kobe his 4th ring. Let's go. 2009 against Dwight Howard. Or was that the 2010 one when we 4-1 the Magic? And it was the year before we beat the Celtics. No, I think the Celtics was his last one. Oh man, either way. All right. So, On the agenda today, honestly, we're just gonna chill today, guys. We're just genuinely going to chill. We're gonna relax. We're gonna talk. We're gonna vibe. We're gonna chat. There's a couple things that I found, that I looked, that I saw, or things that I'm interested in, things that I enjoy, that kind of tune in on. And one of them happens to be about Pragmata, which we talked about a little bit while I was playing it. I just beat Pragmata on, what was it, Friday night? Great game. Phenomenal game. I became very emotionally invested into Pragmata, and it's because of, look, I'm a single dude, almost 30. All right, I was in a 3-year relationship, didn't work out. It is what it is. I want a family. My biggest thing and my biggest goal in life is I want a family. I want to have kids one day, and I want to be a dad, and I want to build a family. All right, no different than anyone else, just wanting a family, just wanting to work, live, and have a bountiful life watching my kids grow up. And Pragmata was a game that made me feel like a dad. As someone who already has what girls call baby fever, and, you know, wanting that family relationship. And as you know, there's been a lot of people, generally femcels, if I'm being honest, I'm not trying to get into like all of that, but we're going to talk about it a little bit, obviously, that are shitting on Pragmata and the people that enjoy Pragmata because of this weird, divisive nature within the gaming community and the country in general between men and women. Because it's fucking weird. I'm going to be honest with you. It's fucking weird. We both need each other. Like, let's be completely honest. Men need women, women need men. Like, period, point blank. It's a biological fact. But for some fucking reason, people are just fucking stupid. Like, they're just actually stupid. They genuinely just, I swear today's generation, whatever social media did to people has actually destroyed any foundation of semblancy of the society we had that was just normal and standard. It's like, look, we're gonna get into it the more we go, but it's just, I have a lot of feelings about it. I'm a very opinionated person. I don't really like talking about politics or anything like that. I actually hate it. But I'm gonna be honest. There's a lot of things that are going on right now that are kind of fucked up in culture in general, with our culture. And because I loved this game, I just felt like I wanted to talk about it today. And we're gonna get into it. And some of you might know exactly who the dude is that I'll be reacting to, who's reacting to another video by Shoe on Head. But some people refer to him as the Roach King. His name's Asmongold. He's very controversial. And I feel like with his controversies, sometimes he's right, sometimes he's wrong. That's okay. You can be right, you can be wrong. There's nothing bad about it. I'm not sitting here trying to go into anything that's like far left, far right. Don't fucking care. Just be normal. Common sense. Dead down the line. Dead in the middle. Compromise. George Washington preached compromise and built a country built on the idea of bringing everyone together through compromise. And we've lost that. We've lost that in the last decade and a half. And it's unfortunate. It's true. It's unfortunate. So, we're going to get into it. We're going to watch this video. It's about an hour long. It's going to be the first one that we watch today. There's a few that we're going to watch today. Not all of it's about this. There's the only one about Pragmata and this situation. The rest are just gaming news. Some things involving Steam, some things involving Stop Killing Games, which is a movement that as gamers, all of us should want to talk about and love, because the gaming industry in general is kind of in a shitty state right now because of the fact that companies just want to milk us for everything that we are worth, but never actually give us anything that's quality, or at least close to quality. And by that, obviously, I'm talking about a lot of AAA publishers. So, we're gonna get into it, but without further ado, today we're gonna do this. But let me move my cam real quick. I don't want to be in the, when I full screen it, I don't want to be in his cam. Boom. All right, we're gonna talk about this. We're gonna get there together. Like I said, some of you probably aren't gonna love him, but it's fine. All right, so the male biological clock is real. It's by Shoe on Head. I'll end up linking the video for her channel in chat after we watch this. But let's talk about it.
This is with the, I'm assuming, the Pragmata stuff, which has been like one of the most weird and deranged crash outs that I've seen in a long time. An emo girl? Yep, I know.
Your eggs are drying up.
Uh-oh.
Yikes.
If you're a woman online, you have probably heard that many times.
Yep.
Perhaps this image haunts you at night. It is a true fact that women's fertility begins to decline at age 30, and they suddenly wake up and get what we call baby fever. But what about the men?
Yes.
Do their sperms rot? Do their balls shrivel up into little raisins and die?
They do. Men experience reduced fertility as they gain, as they get older as well.
Is that better?
Do they wake up one day and get baby fever?
Yes.
Do men have a biological clock in the same way women do? I've briefly joked about this in videos before. In fact,
yeah, it's just not as much.
a clip of mine from a video I did a few months ago actually went viral recently thanks to the VTuber Smugalana.
Ah, yes, the
Ah.
male biological clock. It's not physical,
Yeah, I saw this.
but spiritual.
Men will deny this.
It
but
is
we
spiritual.
absolutely have
It is spiritual. It is the clock of how long until we're just so exhausted we don't fucking care anymore.
a biological clock.
Uh-huh.
It may not hit in your teens or your 20s, but one day you're going to have a dream. You have a little daughter making you pancakes
true.
with your wife in the
Man.
morning.
Oh
and
my
you're
It's
not
true.
going to be able to get it out of your head.
Oh my
And
God.
the comments were full of men discussing their dreams to start a family.
Yeah, of course.
There is not much discussion.
There's
about
nothing wrong with wanting to start a family. Like there's nothing wrong with wanting to have a wife and kids, bro. Like what is wrong with today's generation? And like that's weird. Just because the age of marriage is getting farther in because the economy fucking sucks and nobody has fucking money and everybody wants to be financially stable before they actually afford a wedding or pay for anything. What is wrong with wanting to have kids and a wife or a husband or a significant other of any sort? Like, what's wrong with that? Hey, I got some breaking news for you guys. You're never going to be financially ready for a child unless you're a fucking millionaire. Because they're expensive. That's just the known truth. That's just the facts. Irregardless, that's just how it is. Everything just costs money.
men's desire to have children. Like many things, it's not really something
Yeah, it's secondary. That's the reason why. Yeah, it's totally secondary. You're right.
they talk about publicly. That was until a certain video game came out.
Just, what are you?
I am
Diana.
03367, a state-of-the-art pragmatic created here at the Cradle. I possess basic life-saving...
How about we call you...
Shut up.
Diana.
Diana?
Pragmata is a
Dude, one of the cutest parts of the game was when she was saying Diana Hugh, Diana Hugh, Diana Hugh at that same exact scene. It was
sci-fi
adorable.
action game where you play as astronaut Hugh Williams, who is sent to investigate an abandoned moon base. He meets a
Yeah.
childlike android named Diana, and they team up to survive and escape the space station. Along the way, they uncover what went wrong and defeat the bad
Yep.
guys, all while forming a strong emotional bond.
Great game. 9 out of 10 for me. 100%.
About accurate.
Fantastic,
Yeah, true.
fantastic game. Fantastic game.
I'm counting on you, kiddo.
Oh, God.
But it seems
Wow.
to have awakened something deep within gamers, especially male gamers. The
Uh-oh.
urge to get married and have kids. I'm
Oh.
not planning
Oh,
on
here we
getting
go.
married and having kids, but
Yeah.
damn, this game is like fatherhood calling to me.
Yeah.
Is this how women feel about their biological clocks? This game makes me want a daughter. What is this
Oh,
feeling
no.
inside me? It can't be.
Yeah?
It's like I want to protect. It's like I want to be a dad.
Oh, no.
Look, I'm not gonna lie. I do think the game made a lot of guys that played it who may have never thought about wanting to have kids or having kids genuinely want to be a girl dad. Like, genuinely. Like, Diana is literally the personification of whatever it is to be a young child looking up for a parent. And as someone who, like, doesn't have kids, that's just, it's a known fact. Like, guys biologically, impulsively want to protect people that they love and cherish and care about. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's just a normal thing. Just like how women want to nurture and grow and love, because that's what women do. There's nothing wrong with that.
They
No.
won me over. The white baby makes me feel paternal. I will burn anyone and
Have to be
anything
white.
that tries to harm her. This
Yeah.
game is dragging out the
Dude, I
innate
wanted to
dad
kill
instinct.
8 so
I
bad.
want to like Pragmata, but
And I did.
can't, knowing that men are also enjoying it. This is a
Of course.
Here we
game
go.
for incels.
Here we go.
Total mental illness.
Babe,
It
wake up.
is.
It's time for
It
your
is.
yearly gamer culture
We're a
war
generation
swap.
of mental
That's right.
illness. It's true. It's true.
We are
I don't know about daily. I mean,
never
it's probably
going to
more than
escape
that.
Mr. Gamergate's wild ride. In this
Yes.
video, we are going to discuss the facts and
Coolest about
theories
man, is that
behind
right?
the so-called male biological clock. After we discuss the drama surrounding the game Pragmata and how a
Ooh.
bunch of men expressing a simple, wholesome desire, the desire to start a family, has turned into yet another culture
Yes.
war, yet another gender war. The gender war. Men versus women, women versus men.
The
male
real
loneliness
war-
epidemic,
the real
female
World War
loneliness
III.
epidemic, dealing with dating apps, hookup culture. Do men like
Not
curvy
good.
or thin women? Do women like
It
dad
depends.
bods or fit men? Do they like
I mean-
beards or
I mean, I feel like
clean-shaven?
everybody has their own
Yes.
personal preference.
That reminds me. Before we get deeper into this video, let's quickly give a shout out to today's sponsor.
How can they be so miserable? Well, it's actually really easy. I think it's just a bunch of fat women on the internet don't have any guys talking to them, and probably got groomed whenever they were teenagers, and now they hate all men. That's what happened.
You know, I don't agree with that. It is not only conventionally unattractive women who are pissed off and upset because they're single, alone, etc. There's also a lot of unconventionally attractive men who are the same way. But the point is, I do think it stems from, personally, I think social media is the problem for everything. So I've talked about it previously. I deleted most of my social media before deciding to pretty much start streaming a few weeks ago, specifically just because of the fact that it was exhausting. You go on Instagram. Instagram is just a site where you can go ahead and flex your fake life to a bunch of people who don't fucking really care. TikTok is literally just the new Vines. Like, it is what it is. I still scroll through it, but it's a bunch of brain rot, and it's kind of oversaturated by like a bunch of dumb shit, honestly, if I'm being completely honest with you. Like, there's some quality stuff on there, but like for the most part, like, don't get me wrong, I'm loving like anime edits and like edits in general, and different artists putting their songs out early on TikTok, etc. But like a lot of TikTok is like becoming just degenerate brain rot. That's just terrible. And then you have X. Don't even get me started on X. The X is, I literally only use X to find my sports news when ESPN is lacking. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you, X is just a wasteland. I don't even know. Like, dude, whatever they turn Twitter into, X is just a wasteland. And then I don't even use Facebook. So I deleted like pretty much everything before starting streaming again. And it's like, he has a point. A lot of women's, especially in our generation, distrust and hatred towards men comes from probably in some way, shape, or form getting hurt, groomed, etc. in their earlier years as teens. When you think about when social media came up, you had apps like Kik, you had apps like Snapchat that are all like new, that had zero regulations, zero anything. And it's like, there's a lot of people who got hurt and just from wanting attention because they didn't get it at home or they didn't have friends, etc. That probably got used in multiple ways, emotionally and physically, probably, unfortunately. And it's just, it makes sense why women today hate men. Paired to the fact that it's a glass ceiling, everything else, like, there were issues. Don't get me wrong. There were 100% issues. But I do think that targeting every man, period, is wrong. Because most guys are going to look at it and be like, hey, man, you're fucked up for that, to those guys. Because normal guys who wouldn't do that to someone are going to look at it and think, yeah, that dude's fucked up. Let's beat his ass. Or like, let's do something to stop that. Most guys are on your side that are, you know, normal and just want everybody to be safe, happy, secure, etc. and loved. Feel satisfied with their life. And the problem though is there's a lot of girls out there who feel the same way about guys. But for some reason, you always have this loud minority that kind of overpopulates everything and oversaturates the media and everything that the media runs with, because the media is just propaganda. Let's be completely honest. It just is what it is. Legacy media is literally just propaganda. They just push narratives to remain divisive because it makes them money. It gets them views. It gets them clicks. They're all in it together. Everybody knows that. At the end of the day, same with politicians. Who the fuck cares? Left, right, we're the people who are suffering. Politicians, especially career Democrats and career Republicans, they don't really fucking care about fixing the country because they get a fucking paycheck for it to be broken. The system is broken and just needs to be fixed overall. And until that's actually done, I don't think we're actually going to see any healing between the two sides in the gender war, because it's divisive because you have two different sides on two political streams that are advocating for the divisiveness, even though they try to say publicly that they're not. It's ridiculous. What did our country come to? Our country literally just like, I don't even know, man. Our country literally started so high. We had the perfect views when George Washington was president. He didn't want there to be a two-party system. He just wanted people to get along, agree in a full democracy. And don't get me wrong, having a full-blown democracy doesn't always work either. We saw what happened with the fall of Greece and the masses in Rome. I mean, when you really think about it, like, Rome was the first one to institute a republic where it was senators and a leader / dictator, but like Greece was, by the masses, a true democracy, ancient Greece, for the most part, in many parts of its history, and that crumbled too. So it's like, no government is ever going to be perfect, but the people are its backbone. And when the people are fighting each other repeatedly, consistently, over and over, whether it's about gender wars, whether it's about race wars, whether it's about class wars, the country's not going to heal. It's not going to get better. It's just not going to get better. And because of that, media is not going to get better. Henceforth, why movies and games with political agendas these days fucking suck. It's just the honest truth. They fucking suck. Get political agendas that are designed for today's society and today's world to push a viewpoint out of my games. I'm sorry, I just don't want them there. I don't want to hear it. I hear enough about it on the news. I hear enough about it on family, friends, etc. I don't want to hear it in something that I want to be entertained playing to decompress. Like, I'm sorry, I don't. So, sorry. Anyways, we'll continue. I keep pausing it.
And
Yep.
shaving.
It's the way it is.
For the last few decades, razors haven't been designed to work better. They've been designed to be marketed better.
Yeah.
More
Oh,
features,
this is her.
more gimmicks, more blades.
This is an
I
ad.
said, one more blade, bro.
It is an
one
ad.
More blade, I promise.
Oh,
bro. One
wait a
more
second.
blade. While
That's right.
Dude, what are those teeth? Asmon, what are we doing here? What are those teeth, buddy? Bro. It makes sense why you had to have emergency dental work done like 2 weeks ago, bro. While he was banned. That's funny. All right. Anyways.
no need to compensate with pressure. And there's something really
Yeah, maybe I tried
satisfying
this
about
out.
that. Not just getting a better shave, but finally fixing something that's been quietly annoying you for years. Like when you spend months wondering why you don't feel rested even after you get 8 hours sleep, and then you realize, oh, I need a new mattress. You
What?
don't need more aftershave.
I've been
Smooth.
there.
It is a light each.
All right. We're just gonna. There we go.
Throughout history,
Okay.
there have been countless stories centered around a very specific dynamic.
Uh-oh.
The adult
Chew on ahead.
protector
I'm sorry I
and
didn't
the
listen to
child.
your ad.
You see it everywhere. In video
I'm sure it was
games, they
great,
call
though.
it a dad simulator. The Walking Dead, The Last of Us, God of War, Detroit Become Human,
All great games.
BioShock, Life is Strange.
We will be
Also
playing
movies
BioShock
like
on the streams. I've
Logan,
never
True
played
Grit,
BioShock.
In a way, Monsters
I
Inc.
guess.
Shows
Yeah.
like The Mandalorian. Literature has done it forever with The Road, Les Miserables, and many,
It's
many
true.
others. It shows up time and
It's
time
true.
again because it taps into
All great
something
sources of media.
deeply human. The
Yeah, it's
Everybody
the reason
wants
why it's
kids.
popular is because a lot of people have kids.
Yeah.
Like, I think this one. I mean, like, if you don't understand why this is happening, I feel like there's something wrong with you. Like, you should be able to know this.
Yeah,
Instinct to protect.
he's got a point. That a lot of people have kids. A lot of people have kids. A lot of people want kids in general. It's kind of what we're biologically made to do, instinctually as animals, is to reproduce. It makes sense why these forms of media are very well received. like just in
to
general.
guide, to teach, to nurture something more vulnerable than yourself. It is a beautiful and powerful story that has been told for centuries. And you're like really weird and an incel for enjoying it, actually.
Which is insane.
Incel game. If you buy this game, I'm gonna assume
These women
you
are insane.
pedophile.
These
I feel
people
like
are
it's a breach
insane.
of ethics at this point to design child characters.
It's not
for
even
an
all of
audience
them.
of
It's this
majority
small
male
group
gamers.
that's just like
what's up with
weird.
the
I don't get
defenseless
it, man.
girl the big strong man has to
Don't get me
protect?
wrong.
This
Don't get me wrong. There is a small group of guys that are fucking weird about this game. I'm sure that they are out there. I am 100% certain and sure they are somewhere out there. But they're just attacking everybody. For what? What'd we do? Fucking weird.
reeks of sexism and control. I hate these
That's right.
father simulator games. They always give me the creeps. This is low
You
Kirken.
know
What the
they're
f-
so fat.
What the fuck is that? What the fuck does that even mean? How do you low Kenuinly? I'm not even going to.
They're so
You know that person's got to be like fucking that Gen Alpha group that's just fucking brain dead, 14, 13 years old, bro. You just know it.
saying
You just know it.
Really fat.
You should be off social media, bro. Go do your homework.
Propaganda
Holy
gives me
shit.
no vibes.
What the fuck?
Wouldn't it be cool if I sneezed right now?
Yeah.
Fascist propaganda. If this is fascist propaganda,
Go do your fucking homework, bro. You should be in school.
Zoomer
Yep.
women really look at a wholesome game involving a child and wait, what the f is low Kirkenuinly?
That's what I'm saying.
It's something that people that are Gen Z even think are retarded.
It is
Like, this
retarded.
is something that
I'm
you
sorry,
say
but it is
if
retarded.
you're,
What
like,
is that word?
16 right now?
Dude.
15, probably more like that.
Masculinity.
Yeah.
For the past,
Dude,
like,
what is that word,
15
bro?
Years now, finally a topic comes up where it's overwhelmingly positive masculinity, and what is the response?
Yeah.
I think the funniest thing about the pragmatic
That's
controversy
because they were never against toxic masculinity. They just hated men. It was a bunch of fat, unfuckable, past the wall women that went out of their way to demonize, hate, and figure out every single way possible to minimize the influence and the power of men because they hate men. They hate their dad, they hate their boyfriend, they hate their husband, they hate their ex-husband, or something like that. And if you look at these profile photos, you're going to see the overwhelming majority of them are exactly what I'm saying. And many of these girls got groomed on the internet whenever they were
I said the same thing.
teenagers because
Okay.
their parents never had any oversight over them.
Yeah,
And then
that's true. That's probably how a lot of them did get hurt.
That they hate men, which, I mean, to be honest, is kind of understandable. But at the same time, they want the entire internet and our entire society to have to collectively live out their unresolved trauma. That's the that's what's happening. That's the problem. That's what's going wrong. Aren't they always saying go to therapy? Well, yeah, but they don't need to go to therapy because they go to Twitter. That is their therapy. And also this is another very big component to it is that
Just go to Twitter. Oh,
if
jeez.
this
Twitter's
was,
like the
in my
fucking worst
opinion,
spot, bro.
I think that if this was a story between a
It's so
like a
unhinged
black
now.
person and a black daughter, I think this would be seen totally differently. I think there's absolutely a racial component to it. And the moment that they see some, blue eyes, blonde, long hair, white girl, I think absolutely that's what's going
No,
to.
I
that's going
disagree
to
with
set
that.
them off even more. Because
I disagree with that.
The only thing that they hate more than white people.
I don't think it's a
is they
race
hate
thing.
White men.
Yeah,
Or
that
you could
I
say the
disagree
one they
with.
hate more than men is white men.
Oh,
And they also hate.
the hating white men part is true. I don't think it has anything to do with race personally. I think it genuinely just has to do with the fact that a game is pro masculinity in some way, shape, or form. Because Pragmata is a very pro masculine game. So when it's a pro masculine game, I feel like that's just like he was talking about that community of women who are traumatized and hurt and hate men are going to lash out at it. And I feel like that's not even just a thing with like that one community. I feel like in the state that our country is currently in now, between left, right, doesn't even fucking matter. The radical sides of both don't understand what living in a democratic country is. You're supposed to compromise. There should be no my way or the highway. Like, I'm sorry, that's just not how it goes. My way or the highway doesn't fucking work in running a country and fucking being a community. I'm sorry, it just doesn't. Where the fuck's the compromise? So thinking that, oh, my way has to be forced on other people, whether you are left, right, I don't fucking care. it's just fucking stupid. Everybody should have their own opinions. Everybody should have their own beliefs. And if there's beliefs that are really fucking stupid, like really fucking stupid, then I'm sorry. It's personally, I believe that there should be like an IQ test on voting. Personally, just saying. I feel like there's a lot of people that just are stupid and don't understand things completely, and just genuinely look at the world as my worldview is better than your worldview, so therefore I'm above you. And it's like, no, that's not how that works, man. That's just not how that works. Like, I'm sorry, the left or right should not be in control of anything. It should just be, I feel this way, you feel this way, let's compromise, let's work something out, let's make a deal. That's how it should be.
White women in a lot of these cases, like that one girl that was like making all these negative posts about like Sydney Sweeney and like these other white women, and then like she's making.
Dude, the hate on Sydney Sweeney was insane. When she did the American Eagle commercial, Sydney Sweeney and American Eagle just for being Republican, insane. Absolutely insane. It's like she didn't even say anything. She just did a commercial, and all of a sudden American Eagle got like thrown through the dirt. Bro, she's conventionally attractive. Like, of course they're gonna use her as like the model for their jeans. I'm sorry. It's just, it is what it is.
Making these other fantasies about having sex with white men. Like, these people are just fucked in the head. Completely fucked in the head. And this is what's really going on. It is. And I'm saying this in an extremely blunt and probably very hostile way. And it's because I am hostile to them. I think they're awful. They're awful people. And there is a broad, you know, this is
I don't think
for now.
I don't think anybody's actually like innately awful or evil. I just feel like some people need to understand that their views, I know Sydney Sweeney's conservative. That's what I was saying. Like, when she got brought through the dirt because she's conservative, it was just ridiculous. It was just ridiculous. There was like no need for it. Like, I'm sorry. Like, 50% of the country's one side, 50% of the country's the other side. We shouldn't hate each other. Like, let's be honest. We shouldn't. Everybody just wants to have a happy economy, happy area. It's like it's ridiculous. It's genuinely just ridiculous.
Is that those incels genuinely think they could ever get near enough to a woman to impregnate one. It's not nuanced. Pragmata is catered to male gooner gamers.
Damn.
Why are people thinking this is sexual? Because men are notorious for being peds and disgusting humans. They sexualize everything. You are not very smart.
Men sexualize everything.
Oh, jeez.
So I'm going to sexualize this. Right.
Oh, okay.
Of loser males who
okay.
I think the
it's fucking weird. It's fucking weird.
Just simply not have women in media.
Okay,
because
no.
If the problem
is
unwanted sexualization,
no.
The only way that a woman could be ethically inside of any piece of media is if she's being objectified as a sex symbol.
No.
So unless a woman is in a bikini,
no.
and even then, I guess, maybe unless she's naked, then I feel like you shouldn't even be able to have her on TV because she could be sexualized.
I know he's rage baiting. I know he's rage baiting just to appeal to this comment. Asmund, no, that's not okay.
I mean, I feel like this is the conclusion of that logic. You're on to something? Yeah.
Jesus Christ. No, people just need to understand that their worldview isn't above everybody else's worldview. I'm sorry.
It is an unconscious strategy to avoid competing with chat, as well as complementing their own pure attorneyness.
What?
Stall development. What? Y'all are full of shit talking about dad instincts and whatever. We know why.
I love how the flag isn't blurred out.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, the flag's not blurred out. Okay.
You want to track the... Oh my...
Aspen is the reason women hate white men. What?
Jesus. What the fuck is wrong with you?
You want to play the game? You want to crack the little blonde bimbo slut?
Oh my God.
Jesus.
What? This character design creeps me out.
The fuck?
Why does she look like a doll? Why is this blonde child with a blowout running around barefoot? I've not yet played the game. Is this expanded on in the plot?
I think feet are disgusting. I wish
feet are disgusting. Feet are fucking disgusting. I actually fucking I actually genuinely hate feet. Feet are fucking gross. The worst part of this game, in my opinion, is the fact that she's not wearing shoes. I hated it. Now, don't get me wrong. You heard her little pitter patters every time she was running around the shelter, which was like adorable because it was like a kid playing, running around to toy. But like, bro,
I think it's gross.
yeah, I don't. I'm not.
Or is this
I'm
just
not a fan.
eye candy for creeps?
I feel like I'm going insane. She just looks like a cute kid to me. Like,
Yeah.
that is just literally
She
a
is.
cute little kid.
She's an adorable
I do not
kid.
see the sexualization, and I am a huge pervert, mind you. I do not see.
Okay,
what the
shoe on
fuck
head.
people are
I
talking
see you.
about. Are there creepy people on the internet who are sexualizing Diana? Yes.
I think that what happened is that a lot of the people that are saying this are girls that got groomed on the internet whenever they were really young.
Oh,
And because
okay.
of that,
We're talking about this again.
they
Oh, fuck.
basically put that on any sort of interaction between an adult male and a young female because
Yeah.
they can only see the world through their own experiences.
Yeah.
They're unable
It's true.
to conceptualize
It's what
anything
trauma is.
outside of their own feelings because they experienced it. And I think that's really what's happening. I bet if you made a Venn diagram between the girls that are complaining about this game and girls that got groomed online, you'd have a circle. That's what I think.
He's gotten our point. It is just people who have trauma, like in general, doesn't have to be about this, but PTSD from war, anything. It's really hard to, you know, not see things in a specific way, in a very particular way. And people who did get hurt or assaulted in any which way, it's sad, it's sickening, it's gross, it's fucked up. Nobody should okay that, and nobody should condone it. It should be condemned. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm of the group of people that think that like we should bring back the death penalty for certain things involving shit like that. I'm gonna be honest, I just feel like that it's you're hurting someone in a way that they'll never be the same. Just gonna be honest. They'll never be the same, and that's not okay in my eyes, personally. It's just there's certain things that you just don't do, and that's just hurting someone in that way is something you just don't do. It's just you just don't do it. It's sickening. It's gross. It's just disgusting, honestly. And there's some fucking monsters out there that don't fucking care. And I feel like those people shouldn't be around. I'm gonna be honest. I just think those people shouldn't be around. That's just how I feel.
Absolutely, yes. It is a small minority, but it is still disgusting. In fact, a subreddit had to be shut down because people were making not safe for work art.
I don't go on Reddit. I don't go on Reddit. I stay away from that cesspool. I'll be honest.
Of this child, which
Wow.
honestly is not
That's
shocking.
weird.
It's
Yeah.
Reddit. But that's not the game's fault. The game has nothing creepy in it.
No.
These creepy people will always exist, unfortunately. I have made several videos about these people existing. People getting mad here are not getting mad
true.
at the people sexualizing Diana. That would be completely understandable. It would make sense if they were going to the accounts that were doing that and calling them creeps. But no, they're for some reason just getting mad at people liking and enjoying the game. They're just
They also want to demonize and make evil the normal interaction. Like, basically, a lot of these people have a destructive mindset towards any form of heteronormity. So anything that isn't in some way or another LGBT, it's not minority coded, it's non-white in one way or another, anything that doesn't fall into those categories, they will constantly demonize, invent slander for, and then create negativity around it. And there is a fundamental, and you see this with like the things that are allowed to be sexualized now. We've removed the normalization of sexualizing, you know, like, I guess like attractive young women with like big boobs or a fat ass or something like that, right? And you've replaced this with like feet, MILFs, and other.
I don't even think it's that. I feel like the community just went so long without being able to have like equal rights to an extent. Not equal rights to an extent, but like, for example, like you couldn't get married for the longest time. It was like when you get shut out and oppressed like that in any way, shape, or form for a number of years, I feel like there comes a point in time where eventually there becomes that animosity in a way, and I feel like that's just what it is. It's just lashing out. It's not everyone part of the community, the LGBTQ community. Like, it's not like I have a sister who's bisexual. I have a sister who's a cousin who is transgender. It's not every single, you know, person. It's just animosity grows when you've been oppressed for so many years. It is what it is. And I feel like in order to do it, we need to just repair things, you know? We just need to come back.
Other forms of like weird sexual
Come back to the middle.
That have been normalized and now more socially acceptable than normal heteronormative behaviors. And I think this has been done intentionally. And once you see this, it's very hard to not see this. Look at the types of things that are being sexualized in media now. It's almost overwhelmingly perverted fetish shit.
That's true. It's fucking weird.
It's weird. Perverted
It is fucking weird.
And that's the real goal. It's destroying heteronormity, and especially whenever it has to do with white people. If you look at these people's profiles, you're going to see that I'm right. I know, and this is the kind of thing
I still don't
like,
think it's a race thing.
Like
I genuinely don't think. I think it's specifically just a gender thing.
I want you to look into it yourself and realize the truth of it.
Like, there are race things that go on within the country, obviously, that are looked at, that can be talked about. I don't think this is one of those things. I think this is strictly just a women-men division that has kind of been growing for the last decade. Probably realistically ever since the Me Too movement, I'll be honest. Which is a valid movement. There were a lot of people that got hurt. There's a lot of people that went to jail, and rightfully so. So, I mean, obviously there were some people who lied or wanted views and clicks to... See, that's how it always is with every movement, no matter how it is. Every movement starts with a great idea, something that's meant to help people. And then it always devolves into a corrupt organization that isn't anymore about helping people. It's about superiority in one way, shape, or another, and power. And that's like the problem with everything, with every single movement within the world at this point in time. It's just everything devolves into no longer being about helping people and just being about power and being better than others. And it's sickening. It's terrible. Like, you had a great idea, you had a great plan and a great objective. Stick to it, please. Like, it will help a lot of people. No, of course not. Of course not.
Spurging out and randomly calling everyone and anyone incels.
Why did they make her look like a porn star, though?
Why is the child?
That's crazy. Excuse me?
I've got a situation for you.
Excuse me?
Sexy. Are you okay? These Twitter freaks see a child, immediately sexualize them, and think everyone else is as creepy as they are.
What the fuck is wrong with
bitch,
people?
That's you and Reddit. You and Reddit. There is
exactly
nothing
right.
in this video game that caters to the freaks except for
The
the fact
fuck?
that Diana is a child. Compare that to like Cuties, where there were up closes of real children twerking. That is
That's not
dude,
good. That's
dude,
bad.
that's
real bad.
Dude, Netflix needs to stop with shit like this. I saw that when it was like announced, wherever it was on Netflix, because Netflix was like promoting it. Dude, it's fucking weird. It's fucking weird. I'm sorry. Shows like that, no. Like, I'm sorry. I just don't. No, that's just fucking weird, bro. Because it's not about them being kids. They are like actually kind of objectified in the show. It's like disgusting. Dance Moms was similar in some regards, but like it was a little better. But like this show, oh fucking hell, bro.
For bad.
Yeah, that is catering to those people. An
Yes.
article recently
Fucking
came
weird,
out
bro.
from the outlet The Gamer that in the beginning talks about what happened on the Reddit and how disgusting some people are being towards the character Diana. Okay, fair enough. I agree.
Wow, it's bad to sexualize an underage character. How brave. Oh my god.
No shit, Sherlock. You shouldn't be sexualizing
crazy.
kids in general. Like, what the fuck's wrong with you?
Duh. It's fucking weird.
Are you fucking
But then
a
towards
fucking
the
idiot?
end, the author throws in something very telling.
I have not yet played Pragmata, and that's
There it
Wow, what a
is.
surprise.
And there it is. I have not yet played Pragmata. Well, if you played Pragmata, you would know there's zero sexualizing Diana throughout the entire fucking game. It is literally just fucking weirdos online. Literally fucking weirdos online. Who also aren't playing the game. Or who are playing the game and are being fucking weird. Like, I'm sorry. Pragmata's a fantastic fucking game. If you play it, you'd know it. Like, this idea that the game is sexualizing Diana and a child. No, there is zero sexualization of Diana in the fucking game, because sexualizing children's fucking weird. It's gross. What the fuck's wrong with you mentally to do that?
I
swear.
Tapped out on stories where men adopt daughter
Fucking disgusting, bro.
and prove their masculinity by protecting them.
That is their real problem. Men.
Yes.
Men protecting people. That's
Yes.
just them proving their
Because
masculinity.
they hate women. Or, sorry, they hate men. There's women that hate men. It's literally that.
There
simple.
are just women that hate men. There
The
are.
entire argument against toxic masculinity.
There's also
was
men that just hate
against
women.
masculinity.
It's
Just hate men. It's actually that simple.
it just is what it
As
is.
we all know,
And pretty women.
masculinity bad.
Blatantly
Of
not
course,
you,
masculinity
whether you
is very
agree with it
bad.
or not. The average
It's toxic,
attraction
apparently.
trope on a little girl,
Always.
blonde, blue eyes. I mean, the
What? So if something's blonde and blue eyes, that means it's, oh my god.
whole game is low-key Nazi propaganda, to be fair.
This is what I was saying before.
Exactly. It's a father-daughter
This is
relationship.
exactly what these people do. They try to demonize, delegitimize, slander, and create these, like, this is the reason why video games are so bad. This is the reason why they keep adding in video games that are some contrived gender fantasy for the developers instead of actually a good story. It's because they listen to these freaks that should be in a mental institution, but somehow they're actually out let loose in the public.
Did you know Florida wants to bring back mental asylums? Like the dude that's running for mayor in Florida, not mayor, governor in Florida. I forget which one it is. It's the one candidate that's like a businessman as well. But the one candidate in Florida wants to bring back mental asylums and institutions in Florida. Could you imagine? Could you genuinely imagine if we brought back mental asylums? Oh, fuck. Our generation's cooked. Our generation would be so cooked. Everybody has some form of depression, anxiety, BPD. Like, I swear to God, if they bring back mental asylums like the candidate in Florida wants, bro, and that becomes like a legitimate thing down the road, our generation's cooked. Because everybody has some form of mental illness in our generation. Our generation is, in fact, the generation of mental illness. And I'm not going to sit here and say that, like, I haven't struggled with that either. I have. It is what it is. I've had low points. We all have. It's just a normal thing. There's highs, there's lows in life. But, oh, man. It would be cooked. It would actually be cooked if we genuinely had mental asylums back in our country. And it's like, the idea of them wasn't the problem. It was a space to provide safety to those who are mentally ill in a very extreme way. The problem is that they end up becoming like test subjects, and things were illegally and inappropriately done in those insane asylums because of corruption. They weren't actually helped. They were used for trials and different types of testing, and it's just that's not good. That is not good. But the idea when they were first made wasn't terrible. Just like everything else with man-made things. A nice thought in a movement or any form, when it begins to nurture and grow and gets grabbed by something that is corrupt and evil, and then from there it's no longer good. It's just it for some reason people who have power don't understand that sometimes don't be a greedy fucking bastard. Just help the people like you were intending to do. But to get a little bit of power, and then the seed gets more and more corrupt, and then you get things like human trials on insane asylum patients for things that shouldn't be allowed. and then they shut down. When the whole purpose of them initially was to help those people, to help them heal, to be able to put them back out into society as normal individuals again, as normal people who are healthier for themselves and those around them.
That's it.
I think the men who play this are probably creepy, but how is it Nazi propaganda?
'Cause they're all
Blonde,
white.
Jesus
blue-eyed
Christ.
barber and flowers-looking white girl. You have to say
Exactly. Yeah, it's white people. Like, basically any amount of white representation they view as negative.
I mean, it's not even that. It's not even that.
Equal or greater minority
not even that.
or non-white representation.
I'm gonna say it's not even that, because nobody's angry about the Rapunzel casting in the new Tangled movie. Everybody's happy about that. Like, everybody's happy about that. It has nothing to do with that. It has entirely to do about the gender war. That's literally all that it
literally
is.
Nazi propaganda straight out of the 1930s, dude.
Yeah, which is also made by Japan.
Sorry, I don't see it. Ugh, I really don't have the energy to deal with this. Just use your brain.
Sorry, I don't have the energy to explain my schizophrenic paranoid delusion. Good. I
Mm.
don't have the energy to listen to it.
Yep.
Listen, I know we're all used to seeing gay, black, Hispanic, disabled furries
Oh,
in
jeez.
media lately.
Non-binary.
But I
Exactly.
promise
Oh, jeez.
you, white people still exist. It's not Nazi propaganda.
Well, they want to actively erase white
Ugh.
representation. They want to actively erase white
I don't know, man.
male masculine
I don't know about that one.
representation and replace it
I
with
don't.
the opposite. That's what their explicit goal
Ugh.
is. It's actually that simple.
I mean, there are obviously people out there that just genuinely hate white people, and there are white people out there who genuinely just hate other people. It's just, I feel like it's so small. There's such a minority to it.
Purpose? Because they're that other group. They're non-white, they're not men, or they have some other sort of goal for it. That's the reason why. It's that simple.
I feel like everybody does have an agenda.
I don't know.
Everybody that comments on these things definitely do have an agenda. It's just everybody has one. It
It's
just
so
is what it
obvious
is.
to me that this is what's happening. Duh. They are white, though? Well, they're doing it for approval in that case.
I feel like this girl character is an objectification of the idealized child. She's pulled right
What?
from the patriarchal white supremacist imagination. The perfect pure white girl child that must be protected so she
Mind you, she's an AI. She's a robot. Mind you.
can produce the next white generation.
A
It's
robot.
a robot, by the way.
No, there you go.
Yep.
Okay.
Unsolicited opinion from online prostitutes.
Is that what that said? It is. All right, Shoe on Head.
Unsolicited
I see you.
opinion From online
I see you.
prostitutes.
All right.
I think you're
Okay.
gonna need a bigger garbage can. For
Okay. Okay. Respect.
Anyway,
Funny how y'all
Respect.
have maternal instincts for
It's
a child
insane.
with a model woman's face plastered on it.
Uh-huh.
Make her look like an actual kid with missing teeth, short hair, bare face, snot, and see if those instincts kick in the same. This game is
I love how
She's a robot.
so you made an
She is an AI robot.
re-imaging of this character. Do you really think that people wouldn't like the game if she looked like that?
No, they
Like,
probably
I
wouldn't
don't even
care.
understand- Like, did you really think that?
They wouldn't fucking care because that's not what the game is about.
the gaslighting is over.
wait, I'm trying to follow the logic
It's
here.
so stupid.
Let me just give myself some brain damage.
Uh-huh.
So we make her look more like a child in order to not. Am I following that correctly?
Yes.
Also, the face on the
Yikes.
left is like a child 6 to 7 years old, and the one on the right is like a 3-year-old. Diana's
Yes.
a robot kid. She's not a robot toddler. Also,
Yep.
again, she looks like a kid. Am I going insane? Like, that
Yeah.
looks just like a little kid. Do
It
these
is a
girls
little
look
kid.
Ugly? Is
It
that what
is
this
just a
Y'all
little
have to
kid.
be-
They want to remove representation from attractive women because it makes them insecure. That's why you have all these fat girls that end up being chosen as the prettiest among all of their friends. It's why you have a bunch of women.
Dude, that actually, the psychology behind that's actually insane. Like, there are actually psychological tests regarding like female friend groups, and that does actually happen. It's so weird to me. Like, it's just
that get together and they decide that the fattest, most chopped girl among them is the most beautiful. And the reason why is because they can do that because they don't feel any they're not threatened by that person at all. That's the reason why.
I mean, or hear me out. You can just be friends, you know, just like everybody could be friends in the friend group. You know, it doesn't matter what they look like, just similar interests, good personalities, friends.
That's how it is.
Should be normal, right? Just
They
be
do.
friends. It doesn't have to be a status or like, oh, I look better than them. Just be friends. How about that? Can we do that? Can you just be friends with your friends?
I need more brain damage. Hold on. Weeb incel gamers LARPing saying, ooh, I want to be a dad now, because they're manipulative, creepy freaks and like the ooh little girl with the model face, especially the lolicons, obviously. The devs know the male gamers hate a realistic or ugly child, because that's not what they're playing for. If they
I wanted to be a dad well before Pragmatic came out. Just putting that out there. I wanted to be a dad well before the game came out. It has nothing to do with any of that. It's internal instinct as a man to want to protect. Just how it goes.
Nobody wants to look at anything ugly ever. Duh.
I don't know, sometimes ugly shit's funny, I'll be honest.
Like, I don't even understand. Yeah, this is... Duh.
like a realistic, ugly child, none of them would be saying this. First of all,
Holy
why
shit.
are they acting like it's realistic to portray?
I don't know, some of the ugliest shit in like anime and shit, like fucking monsters and shit, bro, are like some of the coolest fucking design characters in like anime. Like in fucking JJK or Demon Slayer, like some of the most ugliest abominations of demons that they fucking had is like actually really fucking dope. I'll be honest.
For real? I know.
Ugly and disgusting. Children are not ugly and disgusting. Like, they're cute and adorable. That's what they're known for. Like, yes, she's made to look cute.
Yeah.
Yes. That's how you know this game was not made by Western video game developers. That's how you know there was no Lily.
Well, you can tell the game wasn't made by Western video game developers because it was good. It's just call it for what it is. Has nothing to do with that. Just has to do with the fact that it wasn't. It's actually a good game that wasn't $300 million invested into it just to have literally the most bare bones systems in the entire fucking world, and with like the shittiest open world. Like let's be 100% transparent. It had nothing to do with the fact that they made a cute child to be the secondary character. It completely has to do with the fact that, for whatever fucking reason, AAA games in the fucking West just don't understand the formula of making a good game anymore. They just care about making slop to force people to buy for 70 or 80 bucks to make the most amount of money, but then their game sucks because the gameplay sucks, and then nobody buys them, and then they bomb out. And for crying out loud, Ubisoft nearly went bankrupt. If Black Flag Resynced fucking sucks, they might actually go bankrupt. Like... it's ridiculous. I hope Black Flag doesn't suck because I loved Black Flag as a kid, and I'm really excited to play that game again for like a 5th time. But when Resynced comes out and it drops, I really hope it's good. But it's like, it has nothing to do with that. Just for some reason, Western devs just suck at what they're doing, unless you're like CD Projekt Red or like a couple others. Like, it's sad, but it's true.
On the dev team here, you guys would lose your shit while playing Bioshock. Actually, Bioshock is a really good example of this design working right. The little sisters are all gross and have gray-green skin. No, you don't understand. Everything around me must be ugly as f***, or I will furiously start masturbating. This all
It makes them insecure. That's the reason why.
Sounds like 2014
Probably.
discourse, because it
Probably
is 2014 discourse. Please don't let there be Gamergate 2.0. Who's going to be the shoe on head 2.0 to emerge from the Gamergate 2.0? If she's listening now, just, this might sound very vague, but don't. That thing? Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Thanks for talking to me all the time.
Dude, when she gave me this picture in the fucking game, bro, immediately I was yelling to put it on the refrigerator, turned around, it was right there. Adorable. Absolutely adorable.
I remember whenever this happened, and I thought she was going to give me like a health increase because I felt like my health was really low in the game. And then she shows up with this photo, and I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me?
I thought it was adorable. I thought it was adorable.
Yeah.
Not half bad, kiddo.
This robot
You
girl
have a
makes me
problem? I do.
uncomfortable, and the fact that I haven't seen female gamers fawn over her is interesting. I've seen more clips of her and that man, and that is not how kids behave.
Oh.
Something weird is going on here.
I've literally seen female gamers on stream since I've played it fawning over Diana.
Something weird going on here is
Yeah.
you, ma'am. You are
Yeah.
the something
Yeah.
weird. Men
Yeah.
like the father simulator game where you have to protect a small child and
Yes.
shoot up a bunch of robots in space.
No way.
You don't say.
Suspicious. Also,
You
I've
don't
seen
say.
plenty of female gamers falling over this character.
Yeah, they like it.
Whoa, me. Yeah. Okay. Everything's all about you.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
Who would win?
Yep.
Decades of anti-natal
It has nothing to do with that. Like, there are plenty of girls who love Diana and love the game. There are plenty of them out there. There are thousands. Because the game's good. The game's fun. Diana's literally makes you want to be a parent because she's built to be that way. Like, the whole game was centered around no different than God of War with Kratos and, oh my god, what the fuck's his son's name? Literally showing a father-son relationship. This is the same thing. It's a father-daughter relationship. It's a guy that doesn't have kids, who never had a family as you play the game, and an AI child who doesn't even know who she is, what she's meant to be, and has zero guidance or direction that was thrown away by the doctor that made her because she didn't have a perfect pairing with the genetic code and the medicine he was working on to save his daughter, which the next AI that he made did. So she got literally basically delisted. She got literally brain wiped. They wiped her memory, and then they just threw her into a vault because she was useful. And this guy literally was saved by her, and then they develop a father-daughter relationship. Like, what the fuck? Do any of us watch The Walking Dead? Does any of us watch... Did anyone like Les Mis? Did anyone... Like, all the media that we've already seen, The Road, like... Guys. That is normal.
propaganda.
It happens.
One little bean. There were
Yep.
even women cosplaying as her. And when women even expressed how cute they thought Diana was, they're also met with this. Oh my god, Diana is so precious and adorable. I'm gonna love
Yeah.
this game. Thanks for telling everyone why you want to play the game, before you make up some other excuse to hide your pedophilia.
Disgusting.
They're so weird, bro.
Disgusting.
They're so weird. And by the way, keep in mind, these are the same freaks that are trying to infect every single organization that you love and care about and trying to change the definition of what's normal. And the success of a game like Pragmata is what is in the way of that, because it reminds them that they are actually just dysgenic, weird, unlikable, nobody cares about them losers that nobody wants to be around.
Minority. Like I said, it's not everybody. It's not. Genuinely not everybody. It really isn't. There is a very small minority, but like the fact that they're so loud. Fuck, man. It's how it
So
always
they
is. The
have to
minority is
live
always louder
inside
than the
of a
majority.
fantasy that they've created, and whenever a video game breaks containment from that, well then now, we have to destroy it. We have to figure out some angle that we can attack this from to make us look like we're the good people. Don't forget they're fat. They're all fat.
They're not all fat.
What?
They're
Water
not.
guns are the best. I like
They're
it just
not.
as much as crayons. I like when the sand feels on my toes.
I know
sit
it's
down
funny,
and say,
but they're
"Ken,
not."
Children don't act like this. This is how someone who fetishizes fatherhood wants children to behave. To normal people, it's actually deeply off-putting. The best part was all the actual parents, like, replying to these people like, yeah, no, that is literally how my 5-year-old acts.
Well, they probably act like
It
that
is.
sometimes,
It
and they
is.
act retarded
If
other times.
if you've
Probably what
ever
happens, right?
ever had
Like,
kids
I don't know, I
or
bet
been
having
around
kids, like, it's
kids,
probably great sometimes,
family
but it's
parties,
annoying other
holidays,
times.
etc., or you just
It's the
have them
same as
yourself,
anything.
like that is
There's
how they
probably ups and
act.
downs.
Like when you're with Diana in the shelter, that's literally how kids act. They run from toy to toy. They're very asking a lot of questions. Like, it's normal, man. That is how kids act. And your job as an adult is to guide, to parent, to protect. not fucking rocket science.
Duh. Like, I've never had a kid before, right? But like, oh, I wonder if this thing is the same as every other thing that's ever been a thing. Oh, geez, guys. Big question here.
Yeah, no, that's pretty accurate. Fetishizing fuck. You mean the human desire to procreate and start a family? Oh, you want to meet a
Normal.
woman and settle down and have a...
Oh, that's only been a biological concept and instinct and impulse within every living human being for only the last, I don't know. When was the first fossil of a human being, a nomad, found? 10,000 BC? Earlier than that? For the last, what, 20, 30, 40,000 years? Minimum?
family.
No shit.
We have a house, 2 dogs. You sick fuck.
That's
We've
right.
reached radioactive levels of incel propaganda.
3 dogs.
What the
See, guys like that, the reason why they do this is that you have to keep in mind that a lot of the guys agreeing with these girls, this is what's called...
Oh, a lot of the guys that agree with these girls are probably just, honestly, are just creeps themselves that low-key want to, like, get in their pants. It's fucking weird. It's just, it's sickening. Because any guy that wants a family and wants kids and wants dogs and have that traditional, comfortable lifestyle, raising kids with their wife, growing old to be 65, 70, 80, rocking their chairs on the front fucking porch, yelling at people, yelling at the kids to be careful, running across their grandkids to be careful, running across their lawn, playing basketball, football, or I guess nowadays they're probably more likely to be inside on their iPads. But point is like, it's a normal thing. The guys agreeing with these people are literally just actually the fucking creeps that just want to get with those girls in some weird capacity. It just is what it is. It's just, it's gross. It's sickening. The whole thing is demented and delusional.
A mating strategy. They're telling these stupid girls what they want to hear.
Yeah.
So they can hopefully get in their DMs.
Yeah, they're the creeps.
It's the same reason why guys gift subs to female streamers at a way higher ratio. And it's the reason why girls lose viewers whenever they say they have a girlfriend.
It's true.
That's
It's
just the way
sad
it
but
is.
true. It's sad but true.
But like you have to see that for what it is.
does incel mean anymore? I feel like I ask this in every single video. This tweet got thousands of likes. I feel like I am going and say, where does the incel part come from?
Like, they want men to be open about their emotions, and
No,
then
they
men are open about their emotions, and then they're just called Nazis or incels or
Yes.
both. Usually both. It's usually a package deal.
And this tweet came from a man.
Oh, dude, it's so true. It's so true, bro. There were issues in my relationship that obviously like, everybody has problems in a relationship, and I would go ahead and she always got on my case for not always being open about my feelings, just in general, because I'm a fucking guy. Sometimes I'm just not, I need to do better at it, but like sometimes you just don't talk about your emotions. You just don't, you know? You just kind of let it sit because it's not something you want to worry other people about. Dude, the second I went ahead and I finally opened up about my feelings regarding us at the time, everything was my fault. Everything was my fault. Excuse me? I didn't even do anything to like point fingers, nothing. It was just open book, and all of a sudden everything was my fault and they weren't validated at all. So that's why I didn't talk about them. I'm sorry. It's just why we don't.
To make things worse. A grown-ass man.
Now there are obviously like women out there who want guys to open up about their feelings genuinely, to sit there and obviously you know, care, support, love. But like my situation with my ex, there's a lot of times where there aren't, you know. It's you talk about your feelings and it's either used against you or it becomes your fault. And it's just unfortunately how things are these days. It's a weird dynamic in our generation with dating. It's genuinely weird.
Saw another grown-ass man speaking about the normal human desire to want a family and want children one day, and called him an incel. Cockroach behavior.
In any case, what is this?
Oh, Sasan.
Pragmata. Wait, did it come out already? Pragmata, it's making thousands of people suddenly want to start a family. You play as Hugh, a soldier, stranded on a ruined lunar research station. Whose job is protecting the childlike android Diana while fighting rogue AI. In one emotional moment, she gives him a crayon drawing of the two of them.
Dude, I saw a podcast of him on Trash Taste with Sea Dog, the Anime Man, and Giguk, and he was talking about anime. Look, I may think when it comes to politics and whatnot that he's just way too far left and out there, and even then, he's not even as far as some people are, as like someone that's in the center. But like, dude, his anime taste is impeccable. I'll be honest, dude. He seems like a chill dude. I'll be honest. Like outside of like his takes on stream, I feel like off stream he'd kind of be a chill dude. I think his anime takes are fucking like top notch. I'll be honest.
Together as a little family. Even streamers who say at the start they didn't want kids end up breaking down happy in tears. So what's really interesting about this is all of these unfuckable losers in the gaming sphere.
Fuck.
How does one person become so mad?
Yo, that's
How is it
insane.
possible that like you can
That's
become this
insane to
mad?
say.
Isn't that crazy?
That's actually insane.
What is this? He's so miserable, isn't it? It's insane.
That's what. Yes,
Always talk about,
that
like,
is
starting
an
families and stuff.
dude.
And I don't understand like
Who doesn't
why
wanna start
this
a
has
family, man?
become a thing that they care
Yes.
about. Like, if you're a gamer, you should care about things that you actually experience.
Uh-huh.
You should care about things that.
Meanwhile, he plays video games.
He does. He
There's
does.
he played this video game, by the way.
He did.
He even played this specific game.
He did.
So all this would apply to him. All of his reasoning.
He
you
did.
actually enjoy, right? If you're a f***ing lonely gamer who has never been around a woman and will never have sex with a woman,
Most gamers aren't lonely though. Like most gamers realistically genuinely aren't lonely. They work 9 to 5 jobs or 8 to 4 jobs, or if they're blue collar workers, they work like 5 a.m. to like fucking 6 p.m. It's like they have wives, they have kids, they just want to come home and play a game. They just want to relax. Like that's
why do you
insane.
care? Like, why do you care about having children or like riding for having children? Like, it's just not something that you're gonna experience ever for your life, for the rest of your life.
Jesus.
That's
Right?
why they're sad. That's why I don't want to play a game. That's the whole
Jesus.
point.
This is something that I
Yes.
never understand.
Wow, maybe there's a reason people are yearning to start a family and
Yep.
can't afford to have one
The
and
retard
can't
take,
seem to find a
many such
partner. They
cases.
feel alienated from their work and atomized from their community. If only there
Yes.
was a political commentator around to speak about all this. Oh well, get
If only, right? If only we had political commentators that actually cared about, you know, people and not just spreading bullshit.
it's not. First of all, the
They will never. The thing is that leftist creators will never talk about this from any other angle than the way that Hassan talks about it, because the underpinning and the core audience of theirs are women with personality disorders.
Oh, jeez.
That's it.
Oh,
That's
jeez.
That is the overwhelming largest audience for leftist content. Is a
I
bunch
believe it
of
though. That's like the
BPD
sad
women
part. Is
that
like
are
I
going
believe
out
it.
on the internet and
I
they want
genuinely
everybody
believe
else
it.
to relive their trauma. So you're never gonna hear them talk about this from any other angle that is not the most negative,
See, I'm not.
patronizing, detrimental, or hostile to men angle as possible. They're miserable as fuck. Exactly, it is.
See, like I'm not tuned into stuff like that in regards to like the fan bases of streamers like like I've heard names like Froggy and was it Demers, whatever the fuck her name is, Denims, something like that, through like other people reacting in videos and stuff like that. But it's like I don't know much about that shit. I don't really listen to political podcasts. I hate that shit. I'll listen to Joe Rogan when someone interesting is on, like Jern Bernthal's episode or something like that. I like when Elon Musk was on, they talked about fucking space pretty much the entire time, but like I stay away from most things political when it comes to podcasts noise. Like I love like the Best Friends podcast with fucking like I love fucking two bears in a cave, fucking Bert and Tom Segura. Like it's just like I like comedy. I like to laugh. I like to have a good time. I hate when things dive into a form of entertainment that's no longer about having a good time and just like pushing an agenda. It's just, it's sickening, man. Nobody wants it. We hear about it enough. It's just gross.
BPD, borderline personality disorder.
Yes.
There's some of them that are the other BPD, bipolar disorder. I got convinced that my girlfriend meant one of those.
You know, for the longest time, I thought BPD did stand for bipolar disorder. Genuinely, for like the longest time, until I was like through college too, until I was like in my early 20s, and one of my exes had a mom who had BPD, and I found out that it was borderline personality disorder, not bipolar disorder.
But not
I was
the
like,
other,
oh, I see.
whenever she was telling me about it, but she actually ended up being both. It was my ex-girlfriend.
We only care about something.
That would be scary. Man, woman, doesn't matter. Having both would fucking be scary to deal with. I feel bad for that person too, because like, think about it. You on the outside having to like be around or handle or like be in some form of friendship or companionship, relationship, etc. with someone who has both versions of BPD, bipolar and borderline personality disorder. Like, how do you think they feel? Like, do they even know who they are at that point? Like, genuinely asking, because like I wouldn't even know. Like, that just sounds horrifying for those people, you know?
If it affects you is extremely libertarian coded and also very weird coming from a guy who understandably wants everybody to care about a genocide that is happening across the ocean. Second of all, what is this?
Yeah, everybody should care about Israel and Palestine, but nobody should care about having a family. Oh, right.
Oh, jeez. Oh, jeez.
Never aspire for anything. Never aim for greatness and meeting. This is the dude the media wants us to believe is going to save young men from the alt-right pipeline.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. And I love how he's like, unfuckable.
More men are going to the right pipeline because the left doesn't care about them. Because the left stopped being about the people and started being about money. Like, if we're being honest. Like, they started catering to my like the one percenters and money. That's what ended up happening.
Losers, like, okay, congrats on the sex.
And don't get me wrong, the right cares about money too, but that's why a lot of guys are circulating around the right now, because they feel more seen, because they're not seen as evil just for being born a guy.
Check out this sex haver over here. I'm sure all those unfuckable losers could easily go to foreign brothels and pay for sex like you, Hassan. Something weird about a man who...
Wait, Hassan paid for sex in fucking Europe? Oh, you sick deranged fuck.
Consensually get sex from a woman, but
damn,
chooses to go to a brothel. I don't know. Just saying. Also,
damn.
It's weird.
No kids?
It's crazy. He's only 34.
That's crazy.
Isn't he only 34?
That's crazy. She said, like, time's ticking. Time's ticking for the wife and kids, bro.
$600 Gucci
Damn.
sweater. I swear I've never seen this guy in a fucking normal ass t-shirt, sitting on his high horse, looking down at people for wanting something more out of life. I don't understand how someone could be so...
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I'm wearing a hoodie from fucking like Kohl's or some shit and fucking comfy shorts from Shein. Like, bro, I'm not spending $200 on any form of clothing unless it's a fucking sports jersey.
So mentally mind raped that this is their reaction to such like a
fuck that, bro. If it's comfortable, it's comfortable. That's all I care about.
The entire meaning of life is somehow confusing to Hassan Piker, anti-natalist. If I saw a child that looked like that, I'd probably attack it.
That's insane. That's insane. Why are you attacking kid? Why would you say you'd want to attack a kid in general?
Censor the flag.
The flag, yep, flag was not censored. That's crazy.
I see you.
Insane.
You think it's not obvious, but it is.
Damn.
It is.
I felt like hitting her. The right-wing nutjobs seeing this and feeling paternal instincts are just predators. The only instinct I feel as a man right now is self-defense. I want to kill it. Yes.
Oh, that's
what the fuck?
Normal.
What the fuck?
You want to be a dad? I want to kill children. You fucking weirdo.
What in the fuck?
I want to kill kids.
That's
Why
fucking
can't
insane.
everybody be normal like me?
The
Wanting to
ones
kill
saying
kids
they
is
want to
crazy.
protect a kid
It's
are the
fucking gross.
predators, not the ones saying they want to kill it. The
Yeah.
only thing I felt while watching this is pure bloodlust for that annoying creature. I hate children so much. Before you come at me, yes, I'm a 35-year-old crazy cat lady and proud of it. Stay mad.
Makes sense. Makes sense
Nobody's
as to
mad at you.
no one's mad at you, but it makes sense that you're the type of person that feels the need to comment on this.
They just feel bad for you.
Jesus.
They just they're just like, wow, that's sad. It's too bad.
First of all, every time you see a little smiley face like that, that's
It
how
means
you know
they're
that
mad.
person is madder than they've
Yeah.
ever been in their entire life.
Dude, that was like the thing growing up. The thing growing up when we were like fucking like the late 2000s, like the Y2Ks, like fucking like 2008, 2009, bro, sending a text, bro, because there was like no emojis back then. You sent the smiley face at the end.
Listen, obviously, if you simply don't want kids, that's fine. Like, whatever. Not
Do whatever
everyone
you
wants
want.
kids. Not
Yeah.
everyone wants to be a parent. But the
Well,
society.
it's the trying to tell other people what they should do is the problem. Like I think that the people that tell you that you have to have kids, I think they're obnoxious, and the people that tell you that you shouldn't have kids or wanting to have kids is weird.
Yeah, and look, if you want to have kids, have kids. If you don't want to have kids, don't have kids. Like, not everybody needs to feel the need to have kids, bro. Like, it's just, I'm sorry, everybody's different. Like, I don't understand why everybody wants people to conform into their own, like, idealistic. That's what Hitler wanted. That's literally what Hitler wanted. Hitler literally wanted Aryanism to be like what everybody was. And it's like the radicals on both sides literally just want everybody to conform to what it is that their ideology is. Like, no, we're human. Everybody's different. That's fucking okay.
They're also obnoxious. It's the thing I talk about all the time, where it's like you can have whatever opinion you want, right? But like the moment that you try to like put that on everybody else, that's whenever you become an obnoxious piece of shit.
Exactly.
attitude,
Exactly.
The difference.
Stop forcing your bullshit down other people's throats. I'm sorry. I don't care what side you're on. I really don't fucking care. I will tell whoever it is to their face. Left, right, this, left, right, center. If I'm doing it, my friends have said the same thing to me sometimes because of how opinionated I can be. And you know what? It makes sense. Everybody should just have their own ideals and their own beliefs, and nobody should be ran through the fucking mud for it. Just how it fucking should be. I'm sorry. Everybody's different. Nobody should conform to one person's ideology or way to life. I'm sorry. Everybody wants to live differently. Let people live. Live and let live. Quote of my entire life. I love it. Live and let live. Do your fucking thing. I'ma do my fucking thing. Mind your own. I'ma mind my own. Move the fuck on. Period. End of story.
Between men and women here, how they handle this situation is so like fascinating to me.
I'm probably never having kids. I'm probably gonna play video games for the rest of my life. I'm probably gonna be as
Is that
hot
Ray?
for as long as I can, and I'm probably gonna keep making money. That's probably what's gonna happen.
Valid.
For the
Do
next
what you wanna
40
do.
Years until I
Valid.
People are just gonna keep being mad at me about it. Menopause is gonna hit me like
It's actually, isn't it crazy
Like valid. Do it. Like, there's nothing wrong with that.
that like every week she makes some statement trying to avoid drama that gets her further into drama?
That's true, though.
It's really funny.
She does.
It is. Like, I wonder when she's gonna just say enough is enough. I'm just gonna do what I want and say what I think, and if you get mad about it, too bad. I wonder.
Look, listen, not everybody is gonna like you. You can't make everybody like you. There's gonna be people that like you and people that don't. Just be who the fuck you are, man. That's like the only thing I can say to like everyone. Just be you. You'll find your people. Like, genuinely, you'll literally find your people. Just fucking be who you are. Don't put on a mask. Don't be fake. Don't be like any of this other bullshit because, oh, that's what they want me to be like. Who the fuck cares what they want you to be like? Just be you. That's it. Just be yourself. For all it's worth. Just be you.
brick wall, but at least I will be getting the bag until then. You don't want kids? I'll do it whenever I want. I don't think I'm running
Exactly.
out of time.
Absolute delusion. I feel like a lot.
Shit, bro. I don't know, man. I don't know. Maybe it is. I feel like, hey, look, Ray, if that's what you want to do, just do it. I don't fucking care.
Jesus, that's brutal.
Live your life.
Shit.
A lot of men
Just
in this
live your
situation
life.
are like, damn, I wish I had a family. That
Yeah.
sucks. Women overcompensate and they pretend to be proud of it, and it just comes off as really kind of sad. And I guess
Yeah.
it's like, as a woman for a long time, it's like, oh, you're too young to have kids. Don't have kids.
Yeah.
It will ruin your life and your body and your career. Don't have children.
It's gonna ruin your life. Well, what do you want your life to be? Getting passed around by rich guys that don't care about you.
Dude. So my ex was Mormon. Came from a Mormon family. Dude, she like didn't want to have kids like hella early. And like everyone around her, like she was saying, were like literally pregnant and married at like 18, 19. Like that to me is crazy. That to me is crazy. Like not even in their 20s yet and already like with children, married. Dude, it's stop. Like that's what you want to do it. But like she was adamant, like she could not. She was like she was like I couldn't do it. She's like I just not for me. And I was like, I don't blame you. Like I'm not gonna lie, like having kids at 18, 19 when you're, you know, don't really know what you want to do. Like I like, for example, like college, I went to school initially chemical engineering pre-med. Went to school for 2 years, ended up spending like 80 grand to 100 grand on my student loan for those 2 years because I went to a school that was fucking 70 a year and I only got like 50 a year for my scholarship. So ended up going chemical engineering pre-med. I fucking hated it. Absolutely fucking hated it. And don't get me wrong, high school, I loved science. I was in AP bio. I fucking loved chemistry. I was good at it. Like I really, really enjoyed it. Fucking absolutely hated it. To the point where I actually stopped going to school. Well, not stopped going to school, but stopped going to class. And because I wasn't close to home, I kind of went into this downward spiral because I was several hours away from home. So I went away for school. To the point where like I wanted to change my major so early on, but I didn't know how to talk about it. And then I ended up changing my major, transferring out, changing my major to sports management, business, and marketing, and then got my 2-year degree just to be sure because I didn't want to spend any more money. I just wasted 80K basically. And then ended up from there graduating, getting my associates, moving on, getting my 4-year, finishing out my degree. And then fucking now I obviously went for sports management and business administration with concentrations in marketing. It's like, I'm sorry. It's just like at 18, 19, you shouldn't be expected to know what it is that you want to do. I'm sorry. There's so much life ahead of you. Genuinely, like way too much life ahead of you. And to know what you need to do at 18, 19, and my ex's family wanting her to, when she was 18, 19, have kids and get married, and she couldn't do it, or the people that were around her that did it at that time, or the fact that these colleges and institutions are forcing you to spend 70, 60K to go to fucking 1 year of college. Like, look, I'm not a socialist. I'm never going to be a socialist. But I'm not gonna lie, there are certain programs and things that I feel like should be regulated. Healthcare, schooling, and definitely housing are the three that I feel like should definitely 100% be regulated for everyone. Doesn't have to be free, because I feel like free is just, in a country that has 350 million people living in it, I just feel like free is just, it's hard to do economically. From an economic standpoint, you can't do it. But education shouldn't be $70,000 a year. It shouldn't be. There's nothing wrong with 20, but it also shouldn't be predatory. Student loan interest rates are like at like 9%, 10%. Mine was at 8%. On a student loan that by the time I was done was upwards of 140K. It's ridiculous. It's actually just truly ridiculous. And it's like, look at the housing market right now. It's a seller's market. You can sell a house, obviously, for really, really high. But in most areas, including mine, standard two-story, 3-bedroom house that went for 250K, 10, 15 years ago is like 600K now. It's ridiculous. There are certain things that do need to be regulated. I don't agree with like most regulations in regards to like most things regarding it, but I do feel like that at the end of the day, there are certain things that need to be fixed. And as bad as it is, it's just like, we got to do it. It'll help everybody.
Until they stop calling you back. Oh. Oh, you really missed out.
Children, and then all of a sudden you hit a certain age and it's like, your eggs, ma'am.
Uh-huh.
I get it. It's frustrating. I get it. I hid my pregnancy from the internet. Nobody knew I was pregnant.
Yeah.
Well, some of you guessed.
Is she pregnant or getting fat?
That's crazy.
Oh no.
That's actually crazy.
So I was fat as f. But anyway, I hid it from the
Damn.
internet, and while I was like 5 months pregnant, I was getting tweets from like groypers and like, TikTok, your eggs are drying up. But this like,
TikTok on the clock.
you haters, I got my cats.
Yeah.
Enough. Stop spreading that attitude. Stop being a crab in a bucket. Like, even if you don't have children, that's fine. You could find other meaning in your life, obviously. But don't encourage that type of mindset. The amount
it's why they encourage it. They encourage that mindset because they're insecure about their own choices. Most people, I think, that choose not to have kids do so under a false premise of control. I think that there was probably a time in their life where they wanted to have kids, and then something didn't go the way they wanted it to.
Not always.
Or some other bad action happened, and then that changed them. They felt like they weren't able to do it anymore, and now they have to act like that was the plan all along. It's coping. Yes, it's coping. I think that's, and not with everybody. Not with everybody. There's never
of course
with everybody. But I think in a lot of cases, is that your true reason?
Yeah, there probably is.
Yeah.
There probably are, in a lot of cases, there probably are a lot of people who genuinely really wanted kids growing up in whatever case, whether it was financial toughness and not toughness, financial like hardship and just other things that might have happened in life that you just decided kids aren't for me, and you settled for not having kids. And that's sad. It really is, because it's like, I feel like everybody should be able to, you know, work towards a dream and succeed, hopefully, in it. But like, at the same time, you have to work for it. But when it comes to having a family and kids, I feel like that alone should just be something you can just eventually do as time progresses, if that's what you truly want, and not have to be stuck with giving that up because of something that happened to you regarding your life, preventing you from allowing it to happen. It's just unfortunate, truly.
I think that if you look at a lot of people's value system, most people's values are self-referential. So once you understand how one person's values are able to be applied back to themselves and how they relate to this person's, like, their own perception of themselves, I think that that is what really helps you understand where they're coming from. And I think that explains like 95% of people's thinking. Yeah, it's actually that simple.
100%.
The anti-natalist propaganda young men and young women see nowadays is like insane. But the biggest anti-natalist propaganda has to be like $3,000 rent, $2,000 daycare, and
dude, rent's insane. So is daycare. Holy fuck.
The thing is that people don't want to have kids because they're sold a consumerist delusion.
Rent is so expensive these days.
Limits
it's
your
crazy
options to do other things besides.
And I live in a place where cost of living is like top 5 in the country.
You having
fucking
kids
sucks
as like an impediment on life rather than an enhancement for life. And why is that? Well, it's because these companies can make more money from people that don't have kids than do. It's a restriction. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It's both. Yeah, exactly.
If
but
we're
it's
being
framed
honest,
as one
it's just
thing.
sad because like through all of history, like imagine your ancestors, they've been through like war and famine, and you're just gonna end your bloodline because the rent is too high. But it's understandable. They don't feel like they can support a child. They can barely support themselves, especially on one income, like how it used to be.
Yeah.
Those days are gone. You know,
those
if I
days
was
are gone.
president and I wanted to make America great again, that would be the thing I focus on the most. But
making it more affordable to own a house You know what they need to do? They need to. So I was watching a podcast that Caleb Hammer was on. If you don't know who Caleb Hammer is, he does the financial audits that you'll see like on TikTok or whatnot of people who like need their accounts budgeted that are like shit loads in debt, etc. He was actually talking about how where he's at, and I think he's in Texas right now. I think that's where he's at. Wherever he's at, the thing that I think it's actually in Austin where Asmon's from. They're doing away with they're allowing permits now to build to create more houses, and they're allowing in the areas to build up. And in states like Jersey, New York, California, etc., that have a lot of people condensed into smaller areas that want to be near metropolitan areas, getting permits to build is like really, really hard. And because of that, obviously housing is going to be short. There's going to be a shortage on housing, which obviously means that it's higher value, which fucks buyers and obviously helps sellers. What you need to do, what they need to really do, is start allowing those permits to allow for more building, to allow for there to be more houses, more places to live for these people, so people can afford housing. It's just like, rather even apartments, like we should be allowing, because of how bad the market is right now, we should be allowing more expansion and growth in building, and not be as stringent on permits just because of, you know, obviously greed, corruption, money makes the world go round in the worst of ways.
War in the Middle East. Okay, whatever. We're not going into that. Not in this video.
That's right.
Lots of strange reactions to this game. Let's clear some things up. Childless men do not have paternal instincts the way childless women have maternal instincts.
Yes.
Men first experience paternal instincts once they have their own children, and typically, those paternal instincts are only ever felt for their own children and no one else's. Men are not nurturers. Men don't gush over cute kids in public. Men don't have baby
That's
fever.
false.
If a man wants
That's
to possess
false.
a
Absolute Foyd slop.
It's actually false.
Complete Foyd slop.
Guys have feelings too. We have emotions. We primarily hide them, but we have our emotions too. Let's not be deranged here and think that guys just don't have emotions. They don't really show
for
them.
any reason other than it being a product
do.
of his own lineage, he's likely a predator.
Yes.
What? Okay. First of all,
Peak stem cell take? Yeah, that's exactly right.
even from
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
anecdotal
it is.
common sense, this is just not true. This is obviously bullshit. Research
It is
literally
bullshit.
shows that childless men
Absolute bullshit.
experience like the desire for fatherhood almost just as much as childless women experience the desire for motherhood. Apparently,
100%.
young men want children more than young women do
Yeah.
nowadays.
Yes.
Many men, including childless men,
It's because a lot of women are low-key afraid of the pains of pregnancy in our generation, I swear. Which, I mean, valid. I don't blame you. If I had to carry a baby for 9 fucking months and have to go through all like the surgery, if you had to have a C-section, the natural, like, dude, I wouldn't want to be pregnant either. Trust. Like, I completely understand. That shit sounds painful.
Yeah, the reason why is because they've told it's the FOMO. Like, don't you want to be this year's bicycle at Coachella? No, you don't. Oh, well, you're missing out.
Dude, Justin Bieber at Coachella, fucking insane. I'm not gonna lie, like, that was fucking pretty insane. Watching. So obviously I live on the East Coast, so I wasn't at fucking Coachella. I wasn't going out there, but I watched his performance, dude. I just loved that he was literally just on YouTube looking up his songs, because the royalties, he's not allowed to technically sing them from when he was younger. And then he just reverted back to remembering, oh, I'm Justin Bieber, and his voice went back, because he always says that he can't sing. Mind you, I actually like his music, especially now, more than what he used to have. But Justin Bieber's like newest stuff, pretty good, not gonna lie. But then again, it fits my taste. Post Malone, Frank Ocean, etc.
exhibit
The Weeknd.
caregiving, protective responses to infants, even if they're not their own. All through history, men have protected, mentored,
yeah.
even died for kids that weren't their own. Also, with this logic, like, uncles, stepdads, adoptive
out on being
fathers,
a
like,
hoe?
anyone
Yeah.
like that is a predator. Like, men just have the protector gene, and this game just activates it. It's really not deeper than that. Yes, it's
I mean, I don't know. I played the game. I thought it was a good game. I mean, like, what the fuck?
I
Like,
mean,
I don't think the game made me want to have kids or something. Like, I was like, well, this is a pretty fun game. I could see, oh, this is cute, right?
I thought it was a great game.
Like
9 out of 10. I'd give it a 9 out of 10.
I just played it. I was like, this game's pretty fun.
It was a good game. The combat's insane.
Yeah, I mean, that was
hacking and shooting at the same time is pretty. It became addicting.
What the fuck? Like, what do you mean? What the fuck is going on? Like, I played the game. Like, I thought the game was pretty good. You didn't feel the urge to protect her? Well, I mean, yeah, of course you don't want to have the thing get killed. I mean, yeah, sure, but I think that's really a big deal. I mean,
he called Diana a thing.
You're trying to do this thing. Like,
Go ahead.
I don't know. Like, I don't know.
Men don't have maternal instincts, but men do have
paternal instincts.
There's a reason this game is about protecting her from evil robots in space and not like breastfeeding her. Yes, women and men are different. And I like a huge factor in this very popular trope is that the man gradually develops paternal instincts over the child despite his stoic, emotionally distant, masculine nature. These games
because it's made for men. That kind of a story.
It is made for men. It is made for men.
Gamers are experiencing that through the
which is why it's
character.
bad.
If Capcom's goal
apparently
with Pragmata was to make everyone who plays this game want to be a parent, then they've done an amazing job. I always sit back when Diana starts playing and think to myself, so this is what it's like to have a daughter? She's so cute.
Dude, she is. And I've already talked about it while I was playing it. Like, I want to be a girl dad. I want to have a daughter who is like, let's have tea parties. Can I paint your nails? Like, let me do your makeup. And it's like, look, am I gonna sit there and, play catch and play football with my eventual son? Sure. Yeah, 100%. I'm a guy. Am I gonna wrestle and throw him up in the air and all of that? Yes, 100%. But if I have a daughter, are you going to tell me that if you're a dad, you're not going to like melt at your daughter asking you to have a tea party with her stuffed animals? Really? Like, what the fuck? It's like, that's not weird. That's just being a dad. It is what it is. Like, it comes with the territory of being a dad.
And for the record, yes, that is what having kids is like.
Well, it's probably like that sometimes.
It's also not so fun stuff and lots of responsibility.
Okay, so
but the good parts completely outweigh the bad and make it all worth it. There were hundreds of tweets from people, mostly childless people, mind you, being like, that's not what having a child is like, actually, you stupid gamer. It's actually terrible and awful. Men like this view having a daughter like having a pet dog. Once she grows up and isn't a cute little girl anymore, they'll begin to resent her. Men really...
When she grows up, you definitely got groomed. Like, again, unresolved personal trauma.
What the fuck?
God.
That is personal trauma. Just talking out 100%. That's just no. If you're a good parent and you love your kids unconditionally, the way you should, when they get older, male, like son, daughter, doesn't matter. When they're at that young age of, 11, 12, 13, 14, when they start going through hormonal changes, which is biologically fucking normal, are they going to turn into being a little shit? Yeah, probably. I was a little shit. I was a little fucking asshole to my parents. They still loved me unconditionally. I don't know why, but they did. So, it's just, it happens. It's what happens. It's the natural growth of being a child. And when you're no longer, when you become emotional and moody and temperamental, you're still gonna love your kid unconditionally, or at least you should if you're not a fucking shitty parent. Like, you should. And it's like, I'm sorry, whatever trauma you went through, I'm sorry, like, you didn't deserve that. But point is, stop being fucking weird because now you're an adult saying shit like that and fucking going ahead and trying to push that narrative onto people who genuinely just want to be a good parent. Like, it's fucking weird.
Shit.
Really do want kids the way kids want a puppy. All the fun, but none of the responsibilities. I don't like the way you guys talk about children. Like, they aren't toys. People will lose their f***ing minds when they realize that kids aren't like a dog or cat. They're a goddamn nightmare. Watching a child play with a toy and actually...
I mean, they're called the terrible twos for nothing. You should know what you're getting into if you're gonna be a parent. Like, I'm sorry, like, it's called the terrible twos for a reason, they're little menaces to society, but you're still gonna love them.
Raising a child are two completely separate things.
nobody could have predicted this. I'm sure that nobody thought, like, how does somebody do this?
Kids are adorable when they're calm and playful, but little demons when they're screaming, snotting, and destroying your shit and keeping you up at night. Men really think having children is easy and fun. It's not so fun when they're pissing and shit and crying nonstop. Do you have kids? No, and I got my tube side 3 years ago, but thanks for asking.
Then why are you commenting on it? If you don't have kids yourself, and you don't want kids to the point where you literally had your tubes tied without even ever going through a pregnancy, to making sure and guaranteeing that you never have kids, why the fuck are you commenting on it? Obviously your opinion's known. Like, are you fucking stupid? Oh, delusional, demented. Yes. Jesus.
There it is.
Wow, Diana's so cute. Maybe I want kids one day. Did you know they poop and pee and cry?
See,
no shit.
What I said earlier about how all of these people's value systems are just they're crafted in a way
about don't we all
behaviors? That's what it's all about.
Why this compulsive need to counter signal this? Watching a fictional kid play with toys for a few seconds and thinking that's what it's like raising an actual human being is probably a sign you have zero idea what it really looks like being a parent, and you should not base your decision off a video game character. Wait, wait, this community note. OP is an e-girl with an OnlyFans account. You stupid.
No way.
Gamers don't get it. Doom scrolling TikTok.
Oh jeez.
Multiple failed situations.
The OnlyFans account got brought up. That's insane.
Nobody is saying parenting is easy.
No, it's not.
That. All the parts
it's never going to be. For crying out loud, you're raising a kid. You're parenting is never going to be easy. You yourself are imperfect and have flaws. And your job is now to make sure that the life that you helped create is like in some way, shape, or form better than you. like it's not meant to be easy. That shit's hard as hell. But most people still want to go through it because it's just natural instinct. You want to have kids. Most people want to have kids in some capacity.
Parts, all the parts parents say are worth it. That is what people are seeing and yearning for. They
exactly.
Have this,
it's worth it.
Compulsion to attack anything that's like remotely.
It's worth it being 60, 70, 80 years old and being able to look at your kids one day and be proud of them, and then see grandchildren and watch them grow as well. That's what it's all about.
Pro-family, I guess, because it culturally clocks as conservative.
Exactly. That's exactly it. It's a successful, healthy relationship between an adult man and a girl who are both white, and it's not weird. Yeah, they're not gonna like that. That's the worst.
It doesn't fit their agenda. That's what it is.
You could ever have.
It's always about the agenda.
They're gonna make up whatever they need to try to make it look bad. Their ego won't let them. Yeah, exactly. Ruins the narrative? Yeah, it destroys their narrative. Exactly. Both white? Yeah, exactly. It's fatherless behavior? Well, of course. Yeah, definitely. A piece of media instilling a wish doesn't mean people act on it based on that media alone. These people are completely immature. Well, I mean, maybe that's the way they look at it, right? They don't want white people breathing. Exactly. I think that's exactly it. But yeah, there's a lot more of this.
So you have to just shun it and mock it, or else you're doing a fascist propaganda or something. This whole thing has just been a litmus test for humanity. On one side, people who long for love and meaning and human connection desire deeper things, and they're in touch with their humanity. And on the other side, miserable, insane freaks who want to destroy everything pure and wholesome. And then on the sidelines, normal people who just think this is a fun game.
I mean, it is a fun game. It was a great game. The story makes you emotionally invested. The gameplay was really fun. You're literally shooting robots while also simultaneously having to hack them to make them weaker, which is a really fun game loop. The bosses are pretty dope. The cutscenes are fucking either really fucking cool or really fucking adorable. Yeah, it was a good game.
Game was pretty good. I liked it. I mean, there were some things I wish that they did a little bit differently, but like overall, I think it was a really good game.
Yeah, it wasn't perfect, but it was great.
You argued with my objectification point, but you agreed with 2 of Shoe points regarding OnlyFans girls, online prostitutes actually go against what your argument against me was. Well, yeah, because like the way that somebody sees themselves is different. Like whenever you project the way that you see yourself on other people, then it's a problem.
Exactly. It's having opinions. You're going to be different than other people, but having to project your feelings and your emotions and your opinions on other people and expect them to agree with you, that's the problem.
That's probably most people.
If they do, great.
I think we're a little too online sometimes.
Yeah.
So we have established that the broveries have been activated by this game.
Sometimes.
But is the male biological clock...
Yeah, probably.
Unlike women who are born with a specific number of eggs, men create sperm all
Interesting.
their life. Right now, as we speak, your balls are creating sperm.
I know that.
Yeah.
Men can technically get someone pregnant all their life. And by someone, I
True.
mean a woman, not a femboy. You can't get a femboy pregnant.
Oh, don't tell Twitter that.
Dude. Dude. So... that circulating social media right now is fucking insane. Twitter, TikTok, it's like all fucking over.
Stop trying. Sperm
It's
quality
insane.
tends to decline over
After
time.
30.
Lower sperm count and more DNA damage to the sperm occurs. These changes usually start after 35 to 40 years old. So
Yeah.
as men age, the risk of passing on genetic mutations increases.
Yes.
Similar
Yes.
to maternal age, higher paternal age has been associated with autism, schizophrenia, so
Just a really random point here is whenever my parents had me, they were 39 and 43.
Oh, so that's why you're fucked up. Makes sense, makes sense.
Genetic mutations increases. Similar to maternal age, higher paternal age has been associated with autism, schizophrenia, so
Right.
basically being a shoe on head fan, and other rare genetic disorders.
Fair enough,
as
fair
well
enough.
as the chance of miscarriage rates being higher. So when red pill manosphere people tell you like, oh, you have all the time in the
That's 4
world
3,
to have children, bro, focus on yourself, queen, get that bag, like technically they're correct. Physically you do have all the time in the world, but that doesn't mean you should wait. Having kids is more than the ability to reproduce. You want energy to chase a toddler around. You want your kids to have their father in their life for a long time. You want to see your kid graduate and maybe have children of their own. You want to give your parents grandchildren. You don't want to be a super old dad or
There's
mom.
also a huge component to that too. Like I can speak to personally
Is that like it was a colossal, crazy fucking debuff on me that I had to take care of both of my parents. Like it's not something that like I regret doing. It's what you're supposed to do, but holy fuck did that fuck up my life.
Yeah, my mom says the same thing. So my mom had me at 25, but my mom took care of like literally 3 people. She took care of my grandmother when she had lung cancer at 55 and she passed away. She took care of my great grandfather when my grandmother passed away, who was taking care of her father. Took care of my great grandfather, her grandfather, who passed away at like 93 or 92 back in like, was it 2006, 2007? When my mom was like still in her 20s. And then my mom, now in her 50s, just spent 2 years taking care of my grandfather who had a stroke, who came up here, who was living with us for 2 years. And then he ended up recently passing away. So like people who take care of older relatives, a lot of respect. It's hard. It's definitely not easy. It does take a lot of time, and it kind of takes away from your time personally as well, because you're not just you're doing a lot. It's not just obviously the same as like kids and stuff like that, but you're going to cancer treatment appointments, you're going to doctor's appointments multiple times a week. So it's like, respect people that do that, honestly. You guys should honestly feel proud of yourselves for doing that and handling things along those lines, because it is hard. It's very, very hard.
Oh my God. Like, I had multiple relationships I couldn't have that ended up falling apart. I had basically no help in doing so. I was young enough to where I didn't really have the resources to do it, and I didn't really understand it very well. Like, I basically, like, it was really, really bad. I think my dad now at 34. Yeah, exactly. Right.
Yep.
I'll try to do that at some point. Yeah. But what I'm saying is that, like, if you're basically, like, this is the way it was for me, right? This is like, I don't want to talk about all that my personal stuff, right? But like, I think, like, just to make this more clear is that, like, basically what happened with me is that, you know, I had to take care of my mom whenever I was like, I think things really kind of got bad, and I was like maybe 21 or 22, maybe 23, something like that.
Yep.
I mean, things were declining before then, right? But like,
it sucks.
that's whenever things got really bad. And then, you know, like, I had to, like, stay at home. I couldn't move out. I couldn't get a job. I you know, could barely go to school. You know, all these other things. And so, like, that's whenever I wasn't able to have, like, certain relationships. I broke up with a girlfriend because of this. It's a huge problem. And so prime years, exactly, right? And so, like, the time that you would be taking to take care and, like, build your own life and build your own family, you don't have the ability to do that. Because also, like, another thing is that, like, a lot of girls want to marry you. They don't want to marry your aging parents as well. And, you know, the truth is, like, I mean, and you can't blame somebody for that either. It's the same as, like, guys don't want to marry girls that have a kid already, right? It's like, you don't want to play somebody else's save file, like, which is understandable. And I get that, but, like, man, it was fucking brutal. Holy shit, man. And, like, that was it. They raised a great son. I mean, again, like, you could say that, but, like, you know, from, like, ages 22 to 23 to 35, there was only probably, like, a window of, like, 2 or 3 years when I didn't have to constantly worry about one of them. And that was bad. That was really bad.
Yeah, he went through some shit. But, yeah, it's... I don't know. I personally just... hats off to those people, genuinely. Like, that is not something that's easy to not just do, but to watch. And it's like, you do kind of cripple a lot of relationships, a lot of friendships, a lot of opportunities in your life, because you can't just drop everything because you're obviously taking care of someone. And it's the same way when you're a parent with kids. It's like, my mom did all of that with young children. At the time, I was like 5 or like 4 or 5 when my grandmother got sick. And then my one sister who was like just born, and then 2 years later she was, you know, passed. So my mom's taking care of small children, taking care of her mother, taking care of us. And then when my grandfather passed away, I had my youngest sister also around at that point. It was just, we were in the process of moving. It takes a toll on you, for sure. And I can't even imagine it. But one day I know I eventually will, because my mom is currently sick. So she's not at the point where she needs to, like, obviously be fully taken care of, but there will be a point in time where I will be helping take care of my mother. And it's like, it's something you just have to do when you love someone, you know? It's what you have to do.
But if that's how it happens, that's how it happens, and that's great. Life is not a Hallmark movie, but it should not be the ideal for men and women. Like, if you are in a stable relationship, get married and have kids as soon as possible. Honestly, it's the stable relationship part I think people are
That's where
bullshit. What's bullshit about that?
having the most trouble with. It's easy to be like, find a wife and get married and have kids, bro. And it's like, find a wife from where? The wife store? Listen, I believe
we need to do one of. We need to make one of those. That's a good. That's a great idea. So somebody just start on that. Damn.
You will have that one day and on. I believe you will have that wife and daughter or son. You will have a little Diana of your own one day.
Yeah, it's a
you will
great
hang
idea.
those drawings on your fridge. Don't black pill. Don't doom. We're all gonna make it. Same to you,
Hell
ladies
yeah.
watching. If I can make it, you can make it. So, what did you guys think of this? Have you played Pragmata? Did you like it? Did it make you feel those fatherly?
I like how all of this was just about, like, some bullshit. None of it was even about the game.
It wasn't. It wasn't. Has nothing to do with the game at all whatsoever.
Motherly instincts? Is your biological clock ticking? Do you have baby fever?
Uh-oh.
If you like this video, please subscribe, and if you can, donate to my Patreon, link down below. All Patreons get the raw, uncensored version of the video a day before it comes out, and I'm going to start doing live streams for Patreon members only, so that should be fun. And I will see you guys soon with a new video, a slot video, hopefully.
Yeah,
Bye.
that's great.
So that was Shoe on Head, reacted to by Asmin. I like seeing Asmin's, what's it called? No, I would definitely be a caretaker. So I'm gonna link Asmin's obviously as well, because that's the video that we did watch. I have hers set up here as well. I wanted to see what exactly he had to say about it as well, because I saw it and I was curious, I was intrigued. So, but those are the two links. Obviously the second one is hers, to her channel and her video. Go like, subscribe, comment if you liked it. I love her content, honestly. I think her content's really, really good. She makes a lot of interesting videos, truly. But yeah, go ahead, go shout out to her. But she made a lot of good points, honestly. Truthfully speaking, I think that it's genuinely sickening, the state in which the gender wars kind of it has become. It's just kind of sad. It's just like both of us need each other at the end of the day. And I hate when you see like people say I don't need no man or I don't need no woman, but it's like at the same time that's bullshit, because history shows that we do. And it's just it's sickening, man. It's sickening. Like what's wrong with a man wanting to have family? There isn't anything wrong with it. So I don't know, it just doesn't sit right with me. But that was the first of the videos we're reacting to today, but that is the only one that's probably going to honestly get really, I guess, political in a sense, because that one kind of is just a little political. But the rest are honestly just gaming news. Now we just get to chill and watch some gaming news. I wanted to watch the videos. I played Pragmata and I beat it Friday night. So because I played and beat it and I loved the game, I was curious as to what the community reaction was. And when I saw what the reaction was and what people were saying about Pragmata, I was kind of like thrown back, because it was like, dude, what's wrong with people wanting to be a dad and have a family? And when I saw the video and I saw that what it was about, I was like, oh, I'm definitely talking about it, because a couple people, when I was playing it, brought up the fact that it's a honeypot for, you know, PDFs, etc. And it's like, it's fucking weird, man. No, it's not. It's just a good game about wanting to be a dad, basically, and a father-daughter relationship blossoming from a dude with no kids and no family and a girl who got thrown out basically by her creator. it was adorable. Great game though. If you haven't played Pragmata, I do recommend it. If you haven't gotten it yet and you want to wait for a sale, do it. But it was a great game. 9 out of 10 for me, honestly. And I mean, I do love Capcom games, so I'm kind of biased. I love Monster Hunter. I love the RE series, so it's like makes sense. But yeah. Next up. Okay, so this is something else that I wanted to talk about, and this is just me being me, because I always wanted to kind of go into, when I initially went to school for business management, marketing, etc., I kind of really wanted to go into marketing and also deal with public relations in a way, and writing and journalism in a sense. So when I see news media publications talk about games in a way that are not objectively meant to be objective, it just makes me laugh. And the big reason for that is because I think IGN is fucking hilarious. And by hilarious, I mean out of their fucking minds. I don't know what IGN is doing, but they went from being obviously the premier reviewer for video games to honestly just slop that everybody wants to troll and make fun of. And apparently they gave Saros a 7, which is a really good game from what I've seen. So it's like, I don't even know, like, why exactly There we go. Why exactly it's like that, but it is. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and watch the next one, which I already have pulled up. This is by Luke Stevens. This is by Luke Stevens Live, or Luke Stevens, another dude that I love listening to. It's like one of my go-tos for like news for video games. I like his stuff a lot, genuinely. Personally, I will link his video as well out of here. But this is about IGN's grading scale. Now, I have a lot of thoughts on IGN, especially. So this is gonna be fun because I think IGN is one of the poisons currently that are within the gaming community that need to go back to objectively critiquing games and stop pushing their bullshit.
Just dropped. It reviewed very, very well. The game is really, really good. Really, really good.
All right, so what we're going to do here, perfect.
But of course, IGN had to come out swinging with a 7 out of 10 because they're IGN. LOL. The memes write themselves. You can see like there were a bunch of outlets that gave it 10s, 9.5s, 9s, even 8.5s, but IGN came in at a 7, and this kickstarted another round of drama. Naturally, as
of course, why wouldn't it?
And there's even been some memeing done by some people notable to the game, such as Raul himself, who of course is the likeness and actor behind Arjun in
the main character.
Alana Pierce's stream or a video, I think it was a stream, and was wearing the IGN 7 out of 10 shirt.
Dude, IGN 7 out of 10 is actually infamous. I swear to God. Like, the IGN 7 out of 10 has become such a meme in gaming because that's all they ever give quality titles, and then they give dog shit titles like 9s. It's actually hilarious. So, like, if we actually go through it, I actually pulled a few up. So, like, they gave Winrose, which is like... So, like, you know, hold up. Let me go through it. So, Winrose... The game that's popping off right now as like the new pirate survival game, survival craft game, which the demo was fucking phenomenal, by the way. The demo, arguably probably in early access right now, still like the best pirate game that I've personally played, is a very positive on Steam. They gave that a 7 because of course they did. It's IGN. Mouse PI for hire, overwhelmingly positive for the majority. It's dipped into very positive at 92% on Steam. They gave Mouse PI for hire a 6 because it was too cheesy, as if that wasn't what exactly they were going for. Yo, what's up, man? We're reacting to stuff. We're just chilling today. It's Sunday. I felt like kind of a chill, more vibey Sunday. So, dude, I want to buy the new Black Flag game too. I'm hoping it's good because I loved Black Flag as a kid. I loved Assassin's Creed Black Flag. So if Resynced sucks, I'm going to be very sad. But I'm hoping they did well with it. I'm excited for it. But Mouse PI, they gave it a 6. Crimson Desert, when Crimson Desert dropped, everybody knows what happened with Crimson Desert. Crimson Desert was kind of you either love it or you hate it type of game because you either really want to have your hand held throughout a game or you really want to just be let loose out in the open, just go do your thing. 6 out of 10. It's very positive on Steam. It's just a continuous thing. Arc Raiders, they gave a 6 out of 10 before fixing it in their early review. That was absolutely disgusting. Very positive. Marathon, they gave an 8. Marathon can't even get players. Or 9 rather. Marathon can't even get players. Not because Marathon's a bad game. Marathon's actually a decent game. It's just an oversaturated market and it's not good enough to compete in the market that it's in. You're into Warhammer? 40k Warhammer, or are you talking about like Warhammer along the lines of like Total War? And then don't even get me started on obviously the most disgusting game that they gave a 9, and that's Dragon Age Veilguard, which they gave a 9 and nobody bought it. I mean, which sucks because the first 3 games were insane. Really, really good, but unfortunate truly. Oh, the lore, dude, I love Warhammer. I've gotten so invested into the 40k series that it's like I love it. Fanimation? No, I have not. I have not seen it, but I was never really big into Warhammer 40K. I recently got more and more into it because of obviously they're doing the show with Henry Cavill on Amazon that's getting pushed through. And I was like, I saw the secret level season with the episode in secret level, which was really, really good. And that was kind of when I dived into Space Marines and Warhammer a little bit. Absolutely insane. It is such a broad like fan, like I don't even know how to say it. It's just really cool. Yeah, like it's just actually insane. But really, oh fuck, I'm gonna have to put it on the queue to watch eventually. But yeah, like I grew up loving Lord of the Rings, Star Wars. I liked Game of Thrones, so like I love that shit. And like when I never really dove into the tabletop game or anything, and then like watching the secret level episode, I was like, holy fuck. And I got into it, and I'm like so hyped for the Total War game to come out later this year, hopefully, fingers crossed, or at least early 2027, and I'm ready for it. So anyways, let's get back into it.
It's a little funny. Kind of
I believe it.
the bear a little bit. And this, to understand like the broader context, okay, IGN has been getting clowned on for review scores for a long time. Okay, the meme is always
They have
7 out of 10 or 6 out of 10, too much water, or
Yep.
too much cheese, like the Mouse PI for Hire review. That Mouse PI for Hire review
Oh, that's awesome.
got so universally clowned on that I mean, even Moist Critical did a video on it that does
A-
millions of views.
A lot of people talked about the Mouse PI review because it was just actually terrible. It felt like the guy just went into it already hating the game, and which is crazy. And he was complaining about like the comedy, the banter in it all, how it was too cheesy. But that's what they made. That was what it was made to be. It was meant to be cheesy and cringy and corny and just goofy because that was the type of game that they wanted to make. And to go into it and like hate on it was, it got a lot of people rubbed the wrong way, and there were a lot of people talking about the game. And then you play it and the game's like really, really good. So I'll probably eventually play it on stream because it's a game that I do want to play. I've seen some stuff on it, looks really, really good. I'm excited to play it eventually, but like, yeah, the review for it was terrible, like actually terrible.
We did just an off-the-cuff stream segment that did like over 250,000, which is insane.
I'm gonna have
Just
to definitely
talking about,
watch it.
Like, people are very, very perturbed by IGN's approach to these things. And I think it's compounded by the fact that they pretty consistently, as an outlet, when you review something, you're effectively like sort of picking winners and losers. Like you're picking, this game is really good, this game is really bad. And when you have a platform like IGN does, one of the biggest just websites in all of gaming, their YouTube channel alone has almost 20 million subs. Not to mention, you know, they have IGN like France or Spain or whatever, IGN Japan. Like they have all different branches of it. It's huge, okay?
I'll definitely look at it for sure.
The IGN gives a game a bad score, that can have, or at least in years past, that can have a pretty major impact on stuff. For example, when they reviewed Crimson Desert and gave it a poor score, that compounded with other scores from classical media outlets caused like, the stock price of the company to plummet by 30%.
Yeah, they gave Pearl Abyss's which if you don't know who Pearl Abyss is, Pearl Abyss made BDO, Black Desert Online, which a lot of people already had a negative like connotation of Pearl Abyss because of BDO, because it's BDO, probably one of the most beautiful looking MMOs that has ever been made, but it was very predatory in their the game design itself in regards to like the pay to win mechanics of the game. So it was like, and how grindy it was for free to play, etc., and that you couldn't even like it was very Lost Arky in regards to how it was. So, well, I guess BDO was more Lost Ark was more BDO-y. But a lot of people hyped the game up because of what they were seeing. But in the beginning, when they announced Crimson Desert, not a lot of people were as excited about it as what ended up happening because of their history with BDO. But obviously they fixed BDO, at least somewhat, and then they made Crimson Desert, and Crimson Desert is an insane game. I love Crimson Desert significantly. It is exactly the type of game that I was looking for in an RPG game, and I love RPGs. So it's like when they reviewed it poorly, Pearl Abyss's stock, because of what the expectations were, because investors were expecting a high 8, 9 is what they were expecting the game to review as. When IGN gave it a 6, their stock price fell 30%. Obviously, in the weeks since then, they've regained it and more because of obviously the public reception, selling 5 million copies within the first like month, etc. But yeah, it was bad, and it really hit them. And IGN has that power with their reviews because people look at IGN as one of the premier publications for gaming media. But it's like at the same time, when you hold that power, your reviews should be objective and genuine. And look, not everybody's gonna love every single game, but there comes a point in time where you have to objectively review it for the community the game's built for.
Out, people really like the game, and that stock price fully recovered and is on the way up even further now, and sold 5 million plus copies and has done very, very well. So it turns out they didn't really need IGN, but the point is, like, classical media outlets tend to just look back to other classical media outlets for guidance, and so you see like investors looking to it and
exactly
a lot of weight into it, which is why I would say IGN should be held to a higher standard than like YouTubers and streamers.
100%.
Not a lower one, even though everybody kind of holds
100%, because YouTubers and streamers that talk about it, including myself talking about it right now, but people like Luke, people like Asmon, people like Co, etc., they like, you're not officially a journalist. We're not officially journalists. We're not officially reporters. We're just telling you guys how we feel about things that we feel about certain games and stuff along those lines, in hopes of giving you guys an idea and to give you guys a premise and an idea that's from hands-on perspective, that isn't about the filtered journalistic approach, but just hey, I'm a gamer too approach. And there comes a point in time where like, when you're a journalist, you have a responsibility and principle of basic integrity when you're reviewing a product to tell the people you're reviewing a game for your genuine, honest opinions and thoughts in a way that's dictated to that community, not your own personal agenda. Because it seems like IGN's been reviewing Eastern games very poorly the last 2 years, and it's significantly with Black Myth, especially with Black Myth. Black Myth Wukong got ran through the dirt because of game science and the devs team and rough translations that weren't even true, etc. And IGN kind of put out hit pieces on them, and ever since then it's been even worse against Eastern developers. And it's like, we all know that every form of media, regardless of who they are, has some form of agenda, because they want to push a narrative that benefits them, obviously, or the people that back them. Because look, lobbying exists. We know, we understand it. And it's just like, it's negatively impacting both the gaming industry and the people that are going to be playing the games. And it's like, all we want as gamers is for you guys to just put out quality stuff, so that way we know to go buy that quality game. But nowadays it's to the point where you can't even trust publications or media for your reviews. You have to wait till you see Steam reviews or the user scores or YouTubers. And it's like, we're not the professionals. You guys are. Do your job better.
them to a lower standard, because the jokes are the jokes and the memes are the memes. You know, it's IGN. You can't spell ignorance without IGN, you know. And what frustrated me in particular, because we can point to so many examples where they like hype up High Guard, and they're saying people need to stop being so judgmental about High Guard and play it.
High Guard, Concord.
That you should play it before you.
They're gonna do the same thing with the I'm gonna call this shot now. They're gonna do the same exact thing with the Horizon Zero Dawn game that they're releasing later on this year. The other AI slop live service game that they're releasing later this year, that PlayStation's doing, that's still in development. I think is set to release like in like September or something like that, or like expected to release in like September or something like that. Yeah, they're gonna do the same thing. That's gonna be like a 9 out of 10. Watch, I'm calling it. I'm calling it now. And it's not that the game looks terrible. It looks the same as every other version of those games that's come out in the last like year and a half. That's the problem. None of them are different. Like, they're all the same.
Meanwhile, and they're suggesting that if a streamer or YouTuber is negative towards a game, that's unethical of them effectively, because that could mean people losing their jobs. That could mean people getting laid off because the game underperforms, and all this acting holier than thou that they talk up and hype up a game like a High Guard or a Concord or whatever it is, and then they come out swinging and giving like Mouse PI for Hire a 6 out of 10. You know, they give it a score which everybody else understands to be bad. In a way that directly punishes, in my opinion, in a reckless way, like an indie studio, in a way that isn't quite fair.
100%.
So this has kickstarted a whole debate and discussion.
Because those reviews negatively impact indie studios so much more than AAA studios. Yes, stock prices will obviously like drop from AAA studios, and yes, there's a very good chance that the studio, after enough 6 out of 10s or enough bad games, will get shut down. But for indie studios who make good quality games, and then your main media publications review their game poorly, even though the game is really, really good, it hurts them even more, because you're no longer just getting the studio probably shut down. There's a good chance those people will never get a job again in the industry, because it's an indie studio. It's not a AAA developer working for a AAA company who makes a bad game or a bad project, but because they have the AAA pedigree, can still get a job elsewhere. That's the problem.
What is interesting is that Mitchell Saltzman, who is the senior producer and does guides at IGN, so somebody within the organization, tweeted out this, genuinely asking, what can we do to make it even more, or make it even more explicitly clear what a 7 means on our scale? Because you can see, I think IGN sees a 7 as it's not a bad game, but it's not great either, just calling it average / mediocre, compared to what they put on their videos where they say 7 out of 10, it's good. Here's what I'm gonna say, okay? Because the meme is 7 out of 10 is what IGN does, both to like sit on the fence, to not say it's bad, not say it's good, just 7 out of 10.
That's what it is. They're 7 out of 10 just sit on the fence. They don't want to take one way or the other, that stance one way or the other, which is pussy shit. It's cop out.
10, you can't be mad at us, you know. That's kind of the meme. And then the other meme is that they'll hype up like bad games, and then
bad games that give them, in my, okay, so this is my expected like assumption. Look, we all know the corruption that takes place behind the scenes with these things, bro. There's no way they're not pocketing money from larger studios that are like, hey, make sure this is good. You scratch our back, we'll scratch yours type of shit. It happens all the time. That's business dealings in a nutshell. It happens in every single industry. There is no way it doesn't happen in the gaming industry. Probably even more so than in some others, because it's not as big of an industry.
They'll badmouth good games because, you know, insert game journalist meme here, game journalist bad at games, stuck on Cuphead tutorial, blah blah blah, like all the memes.
Dude, Cuphead's such a good game though.
With this stuff, you are trying to toe a line between what the audience is going to understand your review score to mean and what you mean, right?
Yeah.
It's not, as far as I'm concerned, like a reviewer's job is to explain what's good, what's bad about the game, to evaluate it based on their subjective opinion, and then go and put it in a wrapper that the audience can consume and understand.
Of course.
I don't do review score numbers because I have found that almost every single time it creates more headaches than it's worth.
That's because numbers are just a general thing. Like if you're making a review, like a 6 out of 10, a 7 out of 10, an 8 out of 10, in my opinion, when you're reviewing something, it's just sloppy. There's no in-depth detail about it. When you're somebody who wants to know what critics are thinking about something, you want the in-depth details to make sure you yourself make a smart financial decision, especially when these games now are 67 or aren't $60 anymore, they're 70, some are 80, and it's like you want to make sure you're not wasting your money when games are just getting more expensive, and everything within the gaming industry is getting more expensive, from your consoles to your PC parts, etc. You want details that make sense and aren't just personal begrudges with whatever it is in the game, the company, etc. that IGN tends to insert in their game articles. It's not about, it's not like you're writing opinion pieces for New York Times. Like, you're not. You're working for IGN. Like, slow down.
Leads to more misunderstanding than it's worth. So instead, I just describe what I think of the game, break it down, and I'll use words to explain what I think of it.
Yep.
I think this is a masterpiece. I think this game is really good, but it's got some major problems.
Exactly.
That I think need to be fixed through patches, and then it'll be really
significantly easier to tell, hey, this game's good, it might be worth my money, or hey, I'm gonna wait on it. Great game, put it on the wish list, I'm gonna wait on it, I will check and see and come back in like 3 months, 4 months, 6 months when there's updates and a sale. Like, make life easy, because just a 6 is so lazy. It just means bad game in most people's eyes. That's how it was for me for the longest period of time. It's just 6, bad game. Especially when I'm like looking for like, say, like TV shows or anime or movies. It's like for the longest time, if it wasn't at least a 7 on IMDb or Mal, I'm not watching it. That's just how it goes. Because I'm not wasting 2 or 3 hours of my time on something that might be shit. Or 4 hours or 5 hours if it's an anime. You know, I'm not doing that. So it's like 6s and 7s and just 8s or 9s. It's like, add depth. Give me words. Give me exact words as to how you feel.
phenomenal and amazing. You know, or this game is absolute dog water horse trash, and I
don't just add like IGN 2 pages or a page of fluff and absolute bullshit and then just say 6 or 7. Good.
I hate it. You know, I'll describe it, but I'm not going to just put a number on it.
Correct.
Even though that might be like what has traditionally happened. And the reason is because across the globe, especially as games media has grown more international, there are different expectations and understandings of these numbers and what they mean. So
yes.
What seems to be the case in US markets is that people look at the number scale 1 through 10 effectively the same way they look at like school grading
correct
systems, okay?
Because it's the same system.
We have, just in case you're not from the US, if you're from the US, you're like, no duh, Luke, but
yeah. If you're not from the US grade system is literally in increments of 10. 90 to 100 is an A. 80 to 90 is a B. Fucking a C is 70 to an 80, and then a D is below a 70, and F is below a 60. Like, so like 6 and under is like considered an F. Absolute dog shit. That's just how our school grading systems are. And we associate it the same way as number scales for these types of gradings because of the fact that we kind of have it ingrained in us from going through the school systems within our country.
There's people, shocker, not from the US who watch these streams and might not understand how our grading system works. For us, a perfect score equates to basically an A+, right?
Correct.
This would be like a 10 out of 10. So you get a perfect score, you get an A+. 9 is where like A
it's
breaks. So this would be 9. 8 is where you cross into the B section. 7 is C. D is 6. And then literally anything below that is
correct.
An F or a failing grade. Okay, so anything below 6.
And look, I get the term C's get degrees. Yeah, but when you're a game, you don't want to be a C, you know?
What IGN has done is that they'll put like a 7 and say that that's good. But
which most people, when they hear good, it's a B.
American audiences, a 7 or a 70 out of 100 is a C. You know, it's C's get
it's
degrees.
mid.
C's is considered in most American schools to be like
mid
average.
Yeah.
So when there's a grading scale applied to scores, like when I was in college, they did this. They would take all the scores, they would grade it on a curve to make the average score a 70.
A 70.
And so
and then
you could theoretically score above, you know, a perfect 10 if they did that.
Yes, you could.
But it could also end up pulling your grade up from like what would have been a failing grade up to a C because they grade on a scale for the whole class. But effectively, the point is that like a C is...
I never had curves like that, primarily because of the fact that my major wasn't that difficult. I mean, it was business. I don't consider business to be that difficult. So, I mean...
For most people, not considered good, it's considered passing.
But when I was chemical engineering pre-med, we did have those curves.
It's considered
especially in organic chemistry. That motherfucker sucked. But hey, somehow, some way, I pulled out an A.
Good enough, you know. But IGN describes it as good. So they give a game a score of a 7 out of 10, and then they are like shocked that people's reactions are negative. For example, if we pull up their full grading scale, they actually have a dedicated page. I don't know if you do this, but they have an entire page on their reviewing scale. So a 10 is considered a masterpiece. 10 is considered a masterpiece.
Yeah.
9 is considered amazing. 8 is great. 7 is good.
Hold on. Hold on. Did I just see what I think that I just saw? Hold on. Yeah.
Is considered amazing. 8 is great. 7.
Get that FIFA 20 out of 7, bro. That game was dog shit. That game was dog shit. One of the worst FIFAs I played.
Good.
Absolutely hated it.
Is okay.
Absolutely hated it.
Is mediocre.
Then again, I'm biased. Anything that's not like FIFA like 12, well, I guess earlier like 6 and 7 were good too. But like the golden years of like 12, 13, like FIFA 14, FIFA 12, like fucking 13, 15, 16, 17, like that golden era in the early 2010s to like 2016, in my opinion, were just dog shit. They were just bad.
2 is painful.
Because that's when EA started doing away with the creativity in their sports games. Same thing with Madden. Fucking pissing me off because I love sports and I love sports games. Pissing me off.
Unbearable. Okay? My problem with this scale, and the reason why I think number scales just end up being kind of stupid, is because to the layman, anything below a 7 is roundly considered to be just bad. Full
Meh.
stop, capital B, bad.
Average. Meh.
Even if you meant it's okay. That's not what the average person's perception of that score is.
No,
and
6 is an F.
It's why the number scale just gets so stupid, is because to different people in different countries, that score might mean one thing or another. Like we've had people in chat say, well, actually, where I am from, I would expect 5 to be average because it's in the middle. So 5 is average, dead center of the middle. 10 is absolutely exceptional. 1 is absolutely exceptionally terrible, you know? But depending on where you're from and your expectations and your understanding of all these things, your interpretation of that score is going to be different, which means that as a method of communicating to your audience the quality of a game, it's just a bad tool to do that. And the fact that there's so much disdain and gnashing of teeth surrounding these review scores, I think that's proof positive that giving a game a number score is not effective in communicating the value of a game. If
it's
they
not
say that
for anything,
Mouse PI for Hire is a 6 out of 10, they mean it's okay, which to most people would be like a C. But a 6 out of 10 is a D. You know, in American schooling grading, that's a bad D score.
That's a D. And the problem with that is the reason why that's an issue is because whether you like it or not, the United States is like, we're not just a world superpower, but we hold so much power in the economic global market because of our sheer size and the number of consumers within our country. So obviously, you should be making your grading system based off of what Americans would think, because of the fact that we're your largest consumer base.
You're getting called in and you're sitting down with the principal and your parents. You know, you're
us in China, literally us in China.
College with that. That's not okay. You know, a 6 out of 10 in school is not okay. That's a problem. That's a big problem. So people go into it with this baggage and expectation of this. And from my point of view, like, there's been some interesting takes on this with all these. Khalif posted a couple of messages discussing this. So like Bobby initially replied, I don't agree. If you know your target audience interprets a 7 as barely passed because of cultural influences, such as American schools mainly,
correct,
then you need to meet them where they are at and come up with a different paradigm. Otherwise, it's a failure of the communicator.
Correct.
Which is kind of where I'm at.
It's yes.
Says, if I tell you a 7 is good, which describes something as positive, and you interpret that as a negative, that isn't on the communicator.
What? That is on the communicator. That's the whole issue. That is 100% on the communicator. If you're out here trying to explain something to someone and they don't understand it, that's on you. Explain it better. That is on you. I don't care if the person you're trying to explain something to is actually dumb or stupid, because there are people like that out there. Either way, that's on you. And it's like saying to a teacher, your job as a teacher is to teach this kid, but he doesn't understand anything. That's not the kid's fault. That's the teacher's problem. They need to figure out how to translate what they're teaching to the kid. Same difference. If IGN is saying something and the people who read IGN aren't understanding that that's that same thing because of whether it's cultural practices and influences or anything else, that is IGN your fault. That's your problem. Fix it. You're the communicator. You need to make it in a way that your audience understands. I'm sorry. That's just how it goes. That's 101. That's like the easiest thing in the book.
That is on the person processing the information incorrectly or through a negative biased prism. At some point, you either want to believe that person or you don't know what words mean. This response isn't a dunk on the take either way. And also said, to be fair, everything you need to know is both in the graphic score and especially in the written reviews. The audience is going to have to meet you at least halfway to understand what a 7 is. And most times, once people have made up their own mind, they come to a reviewer for validation, then wind up mad when it doesn't meet it. IGN has clearly stated their rubric, and the audience just doesn't like that rubric and forgets that multiple reviewers also are coming to the content from different angles. From my point of view, again, like the point of a review is to communicate to the audience, which it sounds like we agree on, communicate to the audience what the reviewer's perspective is on the game.
Yep.
But for me, my approach, just I guess editorially, has been that perception and reality are two kind
different
of distinct things.
They are.
And whether you like it or not, you got to deal with the perceived reality, because that's what people are making decisions and concluding based on. So if everybody's interpretation of an IGN 6 out of 10 review is that their interpretation is that IGN is giving it a bad score, that's what you're dealing with.
And that's your responsibility to change. I'm sorry. Like, it's just, that's your responsibility. Just because you're teaching, it's like, you know what, so in algebra, there was this thing growing up that we used to do called lattice. And it was like the easy way of like learning multiplication when you're like in 3rd or 4th grade. Excuse me. And they teach you lattice. And it's basically a bunch of blocks with lines, and you multiply the numbers, and you add them up as you go, and that's your number. They don't teach it anymore, from what I understand. At least my sister never got taught it. My youngest sister, there's a 10-year gap between us, never got taught it. They teach you something new now, because it's whatever they're teaching now is more easy to understand. Because lattice, for what it was kind of complicated for people who weren't good at math. So it's like, same thing. If what you're trying to teach or explain doesn't go through, you need to figure out a new way of doing it.
Even if you're like, no, that actually, according to my rubric, is a good game, or a fine game, an okay game. Even if you have to correct it, the fact that you have to go in and try to correct it and play catch up shows that wasn't an effectively communicated point. And whether
exactly
that's fair because the audience has biases or what, I think just it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter. Whatever the reason is for people misunderstanding what you were trying to communicate, as the communicator, especially that has a massive platform, you need to take it upon yourself to be like, why are people misunderstanding what I'm trying to tell them about the game? Why are they misunderstanding that? Maybe it's the scoring system. And even though we do have it written out, do you really think the average person out there that's dunking on IGN is going to go search up what their exact rubric is to determine what the definition of their... No.
Why would they? When you're already dunking on IGN, why in URAC like have this negative connotation of IGN? Why would you go and actually go read their articles? When you see the number, you're just going to meme it. You're gonna repost it, retweet it, flame them in the chat, literally going ahead and ripping them apart without reading the thing. Because why would you? Why? People aren't going to do that. That's why it's up to you to make sure that your content that you're putting out there is received properly.
if I was on the editorial staff of IGN, I would be adjusting the rubric to be more in line with what people interpret the rubric is already meaning. Which
Exactly.
is that if you give a game a number score, because this is the other piece of it too. These aggregators get tossed in specifically, like we saw here with everybody else. Games Radar could have a different rubric than Game Bolt, than Game Spew, which is a hilarious name.
That is pretty good.
You know, and then some of these guys are also doing a 5-star system. Some maniacs are doing a 4-star system instead of a 1 out of 10 score.
It happens.
So Game Metacritic has to go and convert that, which causes all sorts of problems because a game can receive like 3 out of 5 stars, which people would understand to be like, it's good. Not great, but not amazing, but it's good. But when you convert that to an out of 10 scale, it goes to 6 out of 10, which most people interpret to be bad, or subpar, you know, sub-average. And so I think that that's just, at the end of the day, the number is what people are looking at.
100%.
And they're interpreting that number based on, yes, their biases, yes, preconceived notions of what those scores mean, influenced by their education, by schools, what have you. But that's what you're dealing with. Like you
100%. When you see a number, your mind is going to think about immediately what that number means because of wherever you grew up and the culture that you grew up, knowing what that number means on a rating scale. You need to expand on it. You need to update it to where you're not giving 7 out of 10s to games that are actually good when people are thinking that's average, because that's what 7 means.
can complain that that's how people interpret it, but that's what people are doing. That's,
I mean, even in science, when you look at the pH scale, 7 is neutral. 7 is pH 7 is the middle. It is the middle point. It is neutral.
how it's interpreted. So when people see a 7 out of 10, they are thinking this is just average. They aren't interpreting this based on the rubric. Okay, so 7, let me check the spreadsheet. Okay, so that's good. So time well spent. Could it be better? Absolutely. Maybe lacks ambition. Few technical bumps along the road. Too repetitive.
Yep.
We came away.
Who's gonna
feeling
read that?
happy. Okay,
Yeah, who's gonna go read that?
Nobody's doing that.
Who's
Nobody's
gonna
doing
read that?
They're just saying a 7, which for a lot of people, especially in the US, they're going through the filter of 7 out of 10. That's a C. C is just like passing, which is anybody going to say Saros is just passing? Like, no, it's at the very least pretty damn good, which
That's
the
a good
reviewer, I think, would agree with, which is why they gave it. My point is the grading rubric is skewed down
It
further
is.
than it should be. Because
Agreed.
for most people, anything from here on down
Sucks.
is really bad. And honestly, does
Sucks.
anybody care about a distinction between 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5?
No.
Like, I think maybe you say
No.
1 is for games that just don't boot. You know, it's literally a broken game. You can't play it.
I mean, yeah, probably.
But beyond that, what takes something from a 1 to a 2? What takes something from a 2 to a 3? Does anybody care? I don't think so. Like,
No.
and this is just, again, why the grading system is stupid in general. Like, the 1 out of 10 grading system is just kind of dumb. But it's because it's built around, at least in American schools, it's built around core competency. In order to pass, they don't want you to get half the questions right on a quiz on a given subject to be passing. To pass and demonstrate you have an understanding of it, you need to get a good majority of the questions right. Say 7 out of 10. You can miss a few here and there, but you need to get the majority right, you know? And then if you're taking another quiz and you want to be truly exceptional, you've got to get every question right. Love it or hate it, that's the expectation people have. So this has, of course, kickstarted the debate further. Mitchell followed it up. This sparked some good discussion that I enjoyed reading on top of a bunch of attacks out of nowhere. LOL. I wish we had a good answer. I hear what people are saying, though, about the school system training us to think 7 equals C, which equals average.
Because it does.
Which I thought was understood and expected.
I mean, it does.
But that, I think, is where a lot of IGN's problems come from. I think, honestly, if they just skewed this whole scale up by a point. So 7...
If they skewed the scale up by a point, I feel like people would have less issues with IGN's reviews. 100%.
Becomes okay. 8 becomes good. 9 becomes great / amazing, because I mean, great and amazing are close enough. You can, like, kind of squish these where, 8 becomes good, which is, I think, again, what most people expect it to be. Or
Correct.
It's like anywhere from 75 to 80 becomes good, and then 80 to 90.
Hey, appreciate you. Appreciate you.
90 to 95 is amazing. 95 plus is masterpiece
And
level.
10's a masterpiece.
That works.
Yeah.
But again,
how it should be.
My general approach would be like just get rid of.
Oh shit, we won today.
System, because I think it does way more harm than good. Honestly, we've seen so many stories of companies that have like bonuses.
Didn't the game start at 4 o'clock? The game's already over at 6:30. I mean, shit, must have been a short game.
Tied to Metacritic scores.
Must have been quick.
Play a game and you see somebody.
I'm just glad we finally won a series. Let's give the New York Mets a round of applause. We finally won a fucking series. Holy shit. It's our first series win since we went to San Francisco and played the Giants. Holy shit.
Like with Crimson Desert, that one group.
That was like the second week of April, by the way.
They gave it a 4 out of 10 or 4.5 out of 10. The idea that you're going to play Crimson Desert, and even if you like don't connect with the open world, even if you don't connect with like boss fights or something, to give that a 4 out of 10 is insane. Like, that's insane. That's at the point where I don't think you're engaging in good faith, and I am permanently ignoring your opinion. Okay? Like, it's just, I'm not dealing.
Yeah.
I think you're trying to farm out.
That's how it goes.
Clicks, you know,
that's how it
I'm
goes.
not taking you seriously. What I will say is that this behavior we've seen over the last, I think 6 months especially, but it's been going on for a couple of years as well. There seems to be a broader distrust of games media that has grown more severe in recent years, which is,
well, yeah, it's the distrust is specifically there because the way they're grading these games. There's a whole, okay, so you know what it reminds me of? It genuinely reminds me of like Hollywood movie scores these days. So if you ever go to like look at like movie scores and whatnot, so like for example, if you take Jurassic World Rebirth, the new Jurassic World movie that came out last year, the fan score while it was in the movies was like in the 70s and 80% on Rotten Tomatoes or on Fandango. The Rotten Tomato score was like a 53 or something like that. It's at the point where critics and fans don't see eye to eye on what it is that they're reviewing. And the reason for that is because critics look at things from a perspective that people who are going to watch the movie for fun aren't going to. So it's like the same thing with games is happening. If you really enjoy the game as a user, as a player, as a gamer, you're going to review it really well. So take, for example, Crimson Desert. The critics hated it. They had to bomb rush the game within 2 weeks to get their reviews out there. They had to basically try to find out and discover the mechanics of a game that they've never played before that were already kind of, I'll be honest, difficult. They're not easy mechanics to learn by any means. And then on top of that, there's like zero hand holding in the game. Gamers especially play it, have the time to play it, loved it, enjoy the open world, enjoy the figuring it out again. It's like a new toy that you're playing for the first time and you're able to enjoy fully because you're not getting paid to review it intensively and barrel through 300 hours worth of content in 2 weeks. And I feel like there's a disparity between the two because of that, where critics are putting emotional distress into their reviews, objective when it's supposed to be fully objective, making it subjective because of their experience based off deadlines. Whereas gamers are able to play the game at their own pace whenever they want. And if the game is good, the gameplay is good, the story is fine, etc., it's going to review better from a user score than a critic score. No different than Hollywood movies. If you really go to see a movie to enjoy the movie, you're going to review it better than someone who was forced to see the movie but had zero interest in the movie to begin with. Just how it goes.
Why I think you've seen lashing out a good number of times, where you'll see like people from these media outlets that get very impassioned because they're raging against a YouTuber or a streamer that called them out or said their review sucked or something.
Yeah, there's that too.
It's as my brother Jacob put it, it kind of comes off as like the death throes, the death rattle of a dying media.
Yep.
I don't think it should die. I think it's important to have a healthy games industry media.
100%.
I think it's important
100%.
to have an institutional media paired with the independent media. I think that balance keeps everybody accountable. It shouldn't be a total free-for-all. I think there should be true games journalists that are doing game journalism, that are secure in their jobs and are able to do investigative reporting, and to have those
100%.
connections with the upper echelons of the corporate management structure and stuff. Things that, you know, smaller independent YouTubers and streamers wouldn't have access to. I think that is healthy for the industry.
Yes.
They should be held to a higher standard, and they should deliver a higher standard of content and of coverage. The problem is most people, and the reason why I think these outlets have seen a broader drop in their trust with their audiences, they've seen their audiences plummet. The volume of people going to them for games coverage has plummeted versus coverage for standard or for typical games with streamers and YouTubers and TikTokers and stuff. The reason all of that's happening is because of their actions. It's because of the product that they've been putting out being lackluster and mediocre, and their standards being comparably lower than even independent media. And we pointed out numerous times, there's a bunch of examples we could look at, whether it's the Star Wars Outlaws capture footage where they were capturing.
Don't get me started on that. That entire game pissed me off. Like, it was an okay game. It was okay. It wasn't good. They could have done so much better if they did away from the... I blame Disney for it, because there's already like review reports and stuff like that. Disney kind of fiddled with it a little bit. Makes sense. Kathleen Kennedy was still in charge then. Star Wars Outlaws could have been so good if they went the grungy, dark tone of what the underworld in Star Wars is meant to be. But they didn't, of course, because of Disney, unfortunately. But yeah,
footage in such poor quality that people thought it was the game, and it turns out it's just IGN's crappy capture. Similarly, there were other things with like Arc Raiders, where they're doing coverage of this like fairly
dude, the guy that reviewed Arc Raiders was on probably the shittiest setup I've ever seen in my entire life. That dude's setup was literally horrendous, and it showed.
Independent, even though Embark wasn't really truly an indie studio, but you get what I mean. Like, they're a smaller team. They're not EA or something, and they're coming out with their own extraction shooter, and they give out this preview from like a contracted writer who has like captured all of the footage on a potato, and the quality is abysmal, to the point where if one of my team members brought me that video and said, "Hey, should we post this?" I would
not release it. Not release it. If someone that I contracted to give me a quality review came with me with the pile of shit that dude that reviewed Arc Raiders did, I would have not only immediately fired him, I would have then went ahead and hired someone else to do it, and go ahead and literally never do work with that person ever again. That review was so bad that it's actually what really propelled the IGN hate fuel for where they currently stand with the gaming community. It wasn't even Dragon Guard's 9 out of 10, or not Dragon Guard, Dragon Veil's 9 out of 10 from Dragon Age. It wasn't even Veilguard's 9 out of 10. It was literally the Arc Raiders review from that point, because the amount of circulation that went around regarding that review, which was, by the way, terrible. It was on a potato. His mic was sounded like his mic was like an old Xbox Live mic, like an Xbox Live chat in MW2 lobby. That's what it sounded like. It was so bad. The content was terrible. The quality was terrible. The graphics were slow, sluggish. The video itself looked laggy and buggy. I think he did it at like 30 FPS for a shooting game. It was absolutely ridiculous. And the fact that IGN put that out there honestly ruined their reputation more than giving Concord a 7 out of 10 or Veilguard a 9 out of 10.
Be seriously considering whether they should be employed anymore, because the quality was so poor that it would be, I couldn't even fathom thinking that was passable. But they've done this stuff for years, where they put out laughably poor quality products, and then they're frustrated that people don't take them seriously.
It's IGN.
It's because if you want to be taken seriously nowadays, there's a lot more competition. You got to raise your standards. You got to be more competitive.
Correct.
And they just haven't gotten more competitive. Their quality has, at the very least, plateaued. I would argue it's potentially even dropped.
It's dropped.
A lot of talent that they used to have. People that used to work at IGN have left and go and work independently.
independently or to bigger publications. I mean, think about it. As the gaming industry grows, news media outlets like Variety, Vice, Forbes, with Paul Tassi, all have gamer journalists, gaming journalists that are now doing gaming division content and editorials that are specifically only for the gaming industry because of how big the gaming industry is actually becoming. So IGN is kind of getting poached in a way, and because of that, they're filling the gaps with less than stellar independent contractors that are available because nobody else wants them.
It's an antiquated model, and they don't really have an answer for it. So it's a fascinating discussion. I think the again, the discourse around IGN specifically, they've absorbed a lot of the frustration people have had with broader games media because they're the biggest, and that's just gonna happen.
I find this so funny. I find it really, really funny that they got Saros got given a 7 out of 10, and the VA, who's the main character in Saros, wore a 7 out of 10 shirt at this in this video.
But I think the reason why you're seeing all this discourse is because it's just been a broader frustration that a big outlet like IGN that has lower standards than they should has outsized influence on the industry, and it's just stupid that's how it works. And they should hold themselves to a higher account. They should I'm glad that like Mitchell is reaching out trying to understand why people are having this reaction, why people look at a review from IGN and laugh and scoff and mock it. I think that's good. I hope they actually act on it, and I think the first step would be to rework the grading rubric in a more constructive way that aligns closer with what your audience actually interprets.
100%.
Yes, you can put a subheader on it. Yes, you can have a rubric posted on your website. But
doesn't matter.
Everybody's interpretation of your score is X, even though you meant Y. That's
correct. That's a problem.
And you got to figure out how to deal with that.
It's a communication problem.
Anyway, we'll leave it there. Gotta stop talking about IGN. Or I'll get lightheaded.
Dude, IGN is so frustrating. But now I'm gonna go ahead and obviously link the video. I love Luke Stevens' content personally a lot. I think he's fantastic for gaming news and media in general. I kind of discovered him how long ago? I would probably say almost a year ago now. I love his content. He puts out a lot of good quality stuff for gaming news in general. He also has a business background. He also went to school for business, so we kind of see things very similarly eye to eye from a business perspective, because I obviously also went to school for business. So I look at it more as like, look, nobody wants IGN to go under, fail, etc. We just want to be back to what it was. IGN used to be the premier location for game journalism before, you know, they fell from grace, if that's how you want to phrase it. And it's because of, as the game industry got larger and bigger media publications came out and definitely started poaching people, definitely brought up a lot of the independent contractors they used to use previously that were really good at their jobs and made them full-time writers for them. And it's like, that's going to happen, but you need to find new people to replace those guys with that are actually quality, and not cut corners just to put content out there, because that's not going to work. It's not going to work. That's how you flounder as a business. You can't just go ahead and take a quality workforce and try to replace it with a lesser workforce and expect the same results. You need to change some things. It's unfortunately how it goes. But I mean, that is them in a nutshell. So this kind of just hit the media recently. So moving on to the next thing. Well, actually, I need to go to the bathroom real quick, like really bad. I gotta pee. So I will in fact be right back. When I come back, we're gonna be talking about this a little bit, which I've kind of kept up with. Which I kind of hope that this movement comes here and does well, because I am one of those people that got kind of pissed off that Ubisoft turned off the servers for Crew, because I liked Crew a lot, and that I can't really like go back and play it. So Hey, appreciate you. So, that being said, I will be right back. I gotta go piss. Oh. All right. 1 second. Oh, there we go. It's a bit warm in my room. You guys spamming emojis? You guys are spamming emotes. Oh. All right. Oh, dude, I'm kind of getting hungry again. I'll be honest. Damn. Kind of really want salad. I would love a buffalo chicken salad right about now. Not gonna lie. All right. So, we're back. A new video by Bellular just dropped. Bellular News. Love this guy. 100%. He's a wowhead, but he does a lot of new stuff now. Which, oh, wait, why am I not sub to him? Do that. Boom, boom. But absolutely love this guy. 100%. He's kind of been doing a lot of new stuff recently regarding the Stop Killing Games. So for those of you that don't know, Stop Killing Games is a movement. Here, let me just look it up for you guys. So that way I'm not like giving wrong information entirely. But it's basically an initiative that is legally trying to prevent gaming companies from basically being allowed to turn their game off after a user purchases the game that they now own. So basically their whole thing is like, publishers are permanently destroying the video games you've paid for. An increasing number of games are sold as goods but designed to be completely unplayable for everyone as soon as support ends. So we are demanding legislation to end this practice. Basically there's a lot of like live service games that once they go out, they immediately completely turn off you know, servers, games, etc., to prevent people from playing them in the same capacity ever again. Which free-to-play games are kind of also included into this because of the amount of money people are putting into free-to-play games. But there's also paid games like Crew from Ubisoft that are also dealing with like the same thing where they actually have been like completely terminated. So if you go here, I think there is a is this where it is? There is a actual entire like list that they have of what video games are like liable under this, and there's like a shit ton. Hold up. List of games. There it is. And there's like a bunch, and I mean a bunch. So this is kind of becoming a big thing. This guy that is heading it, what's his name? Like Ross Scott, I think his name is. Stop Killing Games leader or head. Is it? Yeah, it is Ross Scott. Okay, I'm bad with names. Sorry. Basically, he just had a hearing in front of, I think, Parliament a couple weeks ago, basically talking about this stuff over in Europe, because Europe is actually like making legislation against these practices in the gaming industry. And I feel like overall it might hurt the gaming industry a little bit, probably, in regards to development, but for gamers it might be beneficial. But I mean, obviously we'll have to wait and see as to what ultimately does end up happening, but I am intrigued to see what the updated news is that it's coming to America, because it hasn't been here yet. People in the US haven't really cared. We just still buy games, but this is the first I'm hearing of it actually starting to make its way over to the US, and that makes me more intrigued, because I feel like if gamers here and consumers here start getting involved with the Stop Killing Games movement, or whatever this is, basically, we might actually see some legitimate changes, because of, like I said, the amount of saturation in the market that takes place in the global economy through the US and our consumers. So it'll be interesting to see.
For the longest time, the USA basically looked like a lost cause for the Stop Killing Games movement. Compared to the UK and the EU, consumer rights were much weaker, and not much seemed likely to change. But as of February this year, that's actually kind of changed a bit, because at least one state looks like it's starting to move, and it's in the form of
Florida,
the Protect Our Games Act that's been
or is it New York?
way through the state legislature in California.
California.
It's cleared another milestone, and it's one
that makes sense.
Change end-of-life support
that makes
for
sense.
Games in the US. It's fairly big, so today that's what we're going to break down. Back in 2024, California passed AB 2426. Now, that is a law that actually made stores basically say whether you are buying a product or a license. Now, I can't blame you for not being aware of that law, and while there was no direct link, it's fairly interesting that shortly after that passed, Valve changed Steam's checkout.
So a purchase of a digital product grants a license for the product on Steam for Steam's. Yes. Okay. So this has been like an issue that's been talked about for the longest period of time. Buying digital games don't give you a license for the product itself. Steam just changed it to where obviously it does. But if anyone is kind of in tune with what's currently going on, the PlayStation Digital Store does not. So PlayStation has received a lot of heat over that the last like 2 weeks or 3 weeks, since that's become like known that they can literally just take games off the PlayStation market and you actually won't be able to play them anymore. Like, period. End of story. Just in general, because PlayStation doesn't give you a license to the game for a digital copy.
Notification to make sure that it's very clear that whenever you buy a game on Steam, you're actually buying a license to that game. That pretty much went,
if I'm remembering that correctly,
caused a whole big uproar. Now, of course, California is just one state out of many, but as of last year, it was also the 4th largest economy in the world. I guess it's a bit of a similar.
The state goes bankrupt like every 8 years. What? I digress. Never mind.
With loads of EU stories where if a company has got to comply in one big, huge market that they kind of can't really ignore, then it's often easier and cheaper for them to just harmonize their new standards globally. And that is why this new bill, championed by Stop Killing Games themselves, actually does matter. It gives license holders new protections and consumer rights. Okay, we've done the background, so now let's talk about the actual thing itself. This is AB 1921. It's the bill that we're talking about.
That's
and it's
crew
called
on
the
screen.
Protect
Game
Our
was so
Games
much
Act.
fun.
It was filed by 6-year veteran assemblyman Chris Ward, and he's basically a guy with a marked interest in consumer affairs. I mean, in the same month he introduced this bill.
That's what I'm saying. I swear California goes bankrupt like every 4 years. After every 8 years and gets bailed out.
Way of talking about dynamic pricing, something that people are really afraid of coming to their grocery stores, which would be pretty rough. But as I think you can now gather, it's really no surprise that Stop Killing Games would want to work with a guy like him, with the interests that he has. But as they put it, it does actually go further up than that. Stop Killing Games' new EU rep, Moritz Katzner, confirmed that he was collaborating with Ward on the drafting before handing it off to the Stop Killing Games US team, who would continue to work with Consumer Reports. So, that's
interesting.
A bit of background. You may be wondering then, well, where actually are we in the legislative process here? It was filed February 12th, and it's had hearings through March and April. It still does have a ways to go. I need to be clear about that. There's a financial review.
Makes sense. There's a lot that goes into these things.
It could be amended before it gets over the line. But as of now, the important thing is it just cleared the Privacy and Consumer Protection Committee and the Judiciary Committee.
So that's good.
It's passed a lot of stuff. It's becoming increasingly likely that this could actually happen. So with that in mind, there's the obvious question. What is it that all of these groups have just approved? Though first, I've got an upgrade to my battle station that I'm so
I'm intrigued
about. It's from our sponsor, Ugreen. And this is the
Maxi
Dock 17-in-1 Thunderbolt 5 dock, and it is a monster. It's also gorgeous, like the aluminum,
what is it?
The way it catches the light, the colors. I love the warmth. It's gorgeous. It's just one of those pieces of hardware that I kind of love having on my desk. But, you know, there's also what it actually does. And
what is it?
Lot. It's got 17 ports. There's Thunderbolt 5 running at 120 gigabits a second. And to give you an idea of performance, it can run a single 8K
Is it a giant battery?
60 hertz or dual 6K.
It's a giant battery.
Absolutely wild. Now for my workflow, it means that my NAS, display, all peripherals run through this while I can edit, move huge files around. And it's even got a built-in M.2 NVMe slot that'll take up to 8 terabytes. And it's a properly engineered enclosure as well, so your thermals are going to be handled.
It's a lot of ports.
Absolutely brilliant. Now, the total
it's actually a lot of ports.
240 watts, and that means that my laptop that powers everything can get up to 140, and then you just have loads more power to spare and put into other things. And the end result of this is I've got my Mac Mini.
Is that an Evo? Is that an Evo Pro SSD?
Then one cable. Put my MacBook in, the whole workstation just whirs to life. It's absolutely awesome. And you can check it out at the link below.
It's a Samsung Evo.
Absolutely knocked it out of the park with this one.
I need a new SSD.
Any server-dependent game
for all my editing stuff. More storage.
2027. And except for post-life support under the Digital Millennium Copyright Act, it breaks down into 2 periods. Those periods being before a game's official support ends and after the game's support ends.
Of course.
Basically upshot. Before support ends, the operator has to give users a 60-day warning, both in-game and on the company's website. They've got to explain when service ends, what features will go along with it, what security risks there are, and in the bill's words, and this is probably the big thing for many of you listening, quote, how the purchaser can continue to use the digital game or obtain a refund.
Which is massive, because if this gets passed through California, there's a good chance it will end up getting passed federally eventually down the road as well. But the reason why that's huge is because of the fact that that means that anybody who purchases a digital game basically, 1, gets a license, but 2, on top of that, when they decide that it's time that they're going to what's the term I want to use, weed out or weem or like do away with content for the game, the life cycle or lifespan of that game is coming to an end. Basically, this is going to go ahead and make it. They do have a lot of regulations. I mean, makes sense. But something like this might actually make its way into the federal government. The reason for that is because it's similar to the NIL stuff with the NCAA. it's not something along the lines of like abortion laws or something like that. That's always obviously very liberal in California. This is something more akin to the case with the name, image, and likeness case that went through California for NCAA athletes that did end up federally becoming passed. So something like this is going to end up, if it does get passed through California, probably end up somewhere within the federal government and having to go through getting passed there. But that's a good thing for us, because this then goes ahead and with the digital game or obtain a refund, basically that's saying that you need to either give them the full license to the game and keep the game running, or if you're shutting the game down to where it can no longer be playable, you need to offer a refund and you need to refund the game, which is huge because it means that more companies, more developers, and publishers are more likely to keep the game running, even at like, a low tier state where at least the servers are running, than shut the game completely down. Which is all this movement is really asking for. So like the big one that I've been talking about a lot is Crew. All people who loved Crew really wanted was for them to keep the servers up and running and just to maintain the game's cycle with like minor updates to keep it where it's not broken, bugged, etc. That's all the people who liked Crew or love Crew wanted. Obviously that's not what happened. Ubisoft shut the game down completely and you can't even play it anymore, and it's stuff like that that this is going to prevent.
Because after service ends, that is where this bill honestly gets real spicy, real interesting. So, after service ends, the operator can't sell the game anymore, and they're legally required to provide one or more of the following. Now, there's a few things here, but you know what? It may be dense, but it may also be rights that some of you guys over in the States will have, so buckle up and listen, it's actually important. Okay, A version of the digital game that can be used by the purchaser independent of services controlled by the operator. So basically, you get a version of the game that you can run without the servers being up. B, a patch or update to the purchaser's version of the digital game that enables continued use independent of services controlled by the operator. C, a refund in an amount equal to the full price paid for the digital game by the purchaser. So those things do seem quite good, but there are some exceptions.
There's going to be caveats,
would
of
not
course.
apply to subscription games that tell users that their access is tied to their subscription. Now, this does actually line up with the 2009 Final Fantasy XI precedent. There's other games though.
So that means MMOs, probably games that are free to play and have battle passes, like your Fortnite, your Apex Legends, your probably Warzone, games along those lines. What I would assume would, in that case, be thrown under this umbrella.
So free-to-play games are just out of scope of this, and this.
There it is. So, any of you Fortnite enjoyers, Marvel Rivals enjoyers, Overwatch enjoyers, etc. Well, I guess maybe not Overwatch, because I remember when Overwatch isn't free to play. Now it is. I think Overwatch 2 is, whatever it is, the new version of it. But like, maybe I might be wrong in that. I know that I paid money for Overwatch when it first came out back in like 2015, 2016. So yeah. But your subscription-based services with battle passes or your free-to-play games with battle passes are not going to be under the scope. So if you spent thousands of dollars on Marvel Rivals or World of Warcraft, for example, or any of those types of games, and they ever miraculously one day decide to be shut down by Blizzard, NetEase, Ubisoft, do a Crew, basically, yeah, you're shit out of luck, buddy. You're not getting that money refunded. But for games like Crew, who it was a $60 premium game that then got shut down and is no longer accessible on any server or in offline mode, you will potentially be getting either a $60 refund, or you'll basically go ahead and be able to be playing the game offline, and there will be potential patches to keep the game updated. If this passes through California law. I'm just glad it's finally here, honestly.
Same goes for any game that you can just download and play permanently without server access. So, with that in mind then, let's test this bill against a game that is actually hitting its end of life pretty much right now. And that game is Battlefield Hardline, which appropriately is set in LA.
Yeah.
You know, you're going around and you're shooting on the Hollywood Hills. Now, on
cops and
March
robbers.
23rd, EA announced that the console servers for this game would shut down on May 22nd. So, no more online play, no more DLC. That makes it a perfect example. So let's see how this game's shutdown measures up against the letter of this new law. Okay, 60-day warning. Tick, they've done that. EA publicized this on their website, though it's unclear if there was a warning in the actual game. Let's be harsh and say that they're half right, but let's be real, it doesn't really take that much effort to put a little message in a game.
No, it doesn't.
They've given players a clear date and a clear list of features that will end, but they haven't told anyone about any potential security risks or the lack thereof. And that is relevant. There may be no security risks, but they should at least have said that per the letter of this law, so let's be harsh again and say that they are 2/3 right on that count.
Yeah.
What about post-support then? Well, Battlefield Hardline will still be playable in some form. You're going to lose your online features, and there's no bots-only mode anymore, but hey, you can play its campaign.
Say there's no more bots-only mode? Wait, so you mean offline? In the offline version of the game, they're not going to allow you to do an offline bots-only mode? What the fuck kind of bullshit is that?
Consoles. Yeah, I'm sure several people are excited about that.
Oh, I'm sure like all 12 of them probably, because let's be completely honest, the campaign for this one was kind of mediocre, in my personal opinion. I mean, this whole Battlefield, in my opinion, was mediocre. But regardless, hey, what's up, Lucifer? What we doing?
Enough. That's the big question. Answering it does take a little second because it does mean we got to go into the weeds. So, the bill says a game has got to maintain, quote, ordinary use of core features, quote, consistent with reasonable expectations of a purchaser, based on marketing and whatever information was available at the time of the purchase. Now, if you read the PlayStation Store,
I feel that
game harshly.
I feel that completely. How was work today? I'm assuming you just got back.
One about needing PS Plus. Because of course it's an online game on PlayStation, but the game is still playable, at least in part. So, what's the upshot of this? What's the upshot of our working example here? It would come down to whether a California court would believe that EA did right by their players. And I think you can see here that on paper, even if they, well, definitely could have been clearer on some of the details, EA broadly has complied with an interpretation of this law. No refunds are required, no alternative versions are required, so whether this law would actually change anything for a game like Battlefield Hardline...
That right there is enough. That right there is an indicator that probably not, which fucking sucks, because those are some of the games that I'm sure some people would like to keep alive. Games like that. Games, maybe not Hardline specifically. Battlefield Hardline was a snoozer. Was not my go-to. But eventually when it comes up time for Battlefield 1, which I don't see them ever shutting down because how popular it still is. Maybe. Or games like Call of Duty. Now, Xbox, when they acquired Activision, Microsoft was very kind to put these servers back up for a lot of old Call of Duties and put them on Game Pass, of course, because it's Microsoft. But will these benefit those games? Because there's a lot of people that do play Call of Duty still to this day, even though it's not what it used to be, to say the least. I don't know. It's a good question. Something we have to obviously wait and see. The bill's not passed, so it's not like it's currently going through. It only went through so far the Judicial Committee, which is a big step. But point is if this bill does pass in California and does end up federally being passed in the government eventually down the road, will gaming developers actually change anything, or will most games that people are trying to make sure that are involved with Stop Killing Games won't even really be affected based off what they do? Because from this point where you're shutting down, obviously, the servers, the multiplayer servers for Battlefield Hardline, and you're not allowing people to play by themselves in like a bots only mode, at that point it's kind of like, what's the point? The story wasn't good. Nobody liked the story of Hardline. It was also short. So sure, woohoo, great. With your digital copy, you can play the story of Battlefield Hardline. But if you actually enjoyed the multiplayer of Hardline, which some people did, what's the point if you can't even play bots? There isn't one at that point. So that's kind of where this becomes kind of this gray area of, will it actually ultimately matter? It's wait and see so far.
Its players basically comes down to how harshly, quote, reasonable expectations gets read. Because remember, it's about the reasonable expectations of someone at the time when they're purchasing the game. So it's one of those situations where one phrase in a bill can absolutely just make the difference, and entirely depending on how someone chooses to read it, and perhaps how
word it.
They are able to argue their read of it. And all that's before we even get to the opposition.
That's the legal field in a nutshell. I hate it.
So, as you'd expect from any attempt to shift the US games industry, the
Main
ESA
loopholes.
opposes the bill. Their concerns
dude,
basically
Ace
normal
Attorney.
things. They argue that the previous bill, one clarifying what is a license versus what is ownership, that basically should already be enough for consumer awareness. But they also fall back on one of their old arguments, which is this: that licenses limit how long a game can legally exist, meaning that forcing support changes at the closure of a game service would basically put way too much work on the company. Of course, many of us would hear that and say, boo-hoo. But on this bill specifically,
yeah, when you're laying off thousands of people a year from your industry because you guys are investing $500 to $600 million in a game that's going to fail because you guys don't understand what indie studios do and taking 80 million and turning it into a great game that then sells profitably, that's not our problem. Be more efficient. Be better. Do better. Make better games. Make better games, you'll have more money, you won't need to lay off 2,000 people a year. I'm sorry. Like, what do you, like, the expansion of the gaming industry, you guys went ahead and did so much hiring, and when you guys didn't have the sustainable growth for it, all because of COVID, people were going to go back to work. What did you expect? People were going to go back to work. When you're putting out games the way you're doing it, sales are down. What do you expect? Be better. Have an actual plan. That's why you guys are closing down studios left and right. That's why the games industry is in a shit spot right now with AAA developers, because you guys are investing shit tons of money in things that nobody either one wants or things you shouldn't be investing in. This is something that should be invested in. If you make a game, 100%, you should continue to support the game in one way or another. Just how it goes. I don't agree with the refunds, specifically because of the fact that then you're taking money away from the company and the developer that is making the game for you. That money is a courtesy. Thank you for making this game, in my opinion, personally. But the least you can do is either keep servers up or at least make it in a state offline when you do decide to discontinue the game and updates on it, to make sure that you can fully play the game offline in some capacity, including a multiplayer where at least you can play with like AI bots. That's not that hard to put into a game. Let's be honest. It's really not. For crying out loud, just fucking copy paste fucking Call of Duty's bots. You already have your own bot system. Just make it where they can play it. It's not difficult to do.
Specifically, they do actually have a point. You see, there's no carve-out for pre-existing games. Now, that means that every back catalog title that's still on sale come January 2027 would fall under the law. So your EAs, Ubisofts, all those companies would suddenly have to either work out refund plans, which would obviously be really expensive, and
catastrophic for them.
Rebuild plans. And those would be rebuild plans for games that they shipped a decade ago, right? That's going to be kind of tricky. Now, Stop Killing Games' argument has always been that if you develop with end of life in mind from the beginning, this is basically a non-issue, right? You're not going to have some crazy big cost because well, you would have anticipated whatever the technical requirements of end of life would be at the time you're actually making the damn game in the first place.
Which is a valid point. However, at the same time, what is the end of life plan? That's my one. I'm playing devil's advocate on this one, but stop killing games. I understand their point. If you're going to go ahead and decide that your online service game is going to eventually have a termination date or an end date, and you already have that date in mind, or whatever the case might be, so you can budget for it. But what happens if you have a game like Concord that's offline in 2 weeks? Or High Guard in a week? Or what happens if your MMO does extremely well, better than you may have thought, and now you're 20 years down the road in content? At that point, your budget doesn't fucking matter. It's either going to be too big or too small. You could have used that budget at that point to make the game better so it doesn't die in 2 weeks. Or your game is now so large and so big with such a consumer base and such a player base that if you shut it down, the refunds for it, or the termination fees, budgets, etc., is going to be significantly larger than what you expected it to be. That's the part where I don't agree. I agree that there should be some form of continuation with a game at the end of its service, but I prefer it in an offline setting. I feel like it's good for the consumer who can now play it offline, on LAN with friends, or just by themselves, and can continue to enjoy the game. Continuing it in a state where it's a refund or an end of date termination isn't going to actually efficiently work, because that money in the beginning could either, one, help prevent the game from dying, or two, not be big enough if the game blows up.
I think they've got a good point there. Now, obviously, as time goes on, technology can change, and that could change end-of-life stuff, even if end-of-life was considered at the beginning. But the big thing with this law is it basically being retroactive, and there being no carve-out for games that basically are just sitting there in back catalogs. So even though they've got a point, you do need to remember that the ESA will always try to take up these oppositional positions, right? Because any change at all is a risk to them. And I mean, we know it's a risk. You know it's a risk. I know it's a risk. We may think it's a risk that is completely fine for the ESA's members to deal with, but obviously it's a risk. They're obviously going to fight back against it.
Of course. Why wouldn't you?
Especially, the one that really would be tricky is the refund enforcement piece.
Yeah, I don't like that one.
During legislative review.
Yeah, like I said, I don't like that one. I think that one's too much. At the end of the day, if you're buying a game, just because the game's been out for 10 plus years and the company decides that's time to discontinue its live service for it for a different game, the company shouldn't be punished for that and have their profit margins be refunded and taken away, in my personal opinion. Because at that point, you're no longer inciting growth within the company to make new games. You're saying that this is a temporary fee that I'm giving you to play this game, but when you go ahead and close it and end it, I need it back. It's like a security deposit. I don't agree with that. You're buying a product. It's basically a $60 buy-in, $40 buy-in, $20 buy-in, whatever you get a game for. And that is a thank you for making the game. The least you can do is just continue it. That's like it. That's a patch update to allow offline play in full capacity, and that's it. That's like that's all the company, in my opinion, the company should be required to do.
And again, after, should the bill pass. I mean, telling a company to either rebuild or refund their customers is all well and good when we're talking about an EA or an Ubisoft. But where you could start to see some issues is, say, smaller devs building non-live service games who would be subject to this type of thing as well. And to give you an example, think of Last Flag. Now I bring it up because it's an interesting case of
that's the game that just came out too, and it's
kind of bad and in
it's shaky.
Way. So that's a game that came out recently, and whatever their resources are at the end of that game's service, well, a law like this may be the difference between whatever little amount of money is left for maybe paying staff and making another game, or simply just well, going bankrupt. Now, I bring that up not to be anti-stop killing games or to be against this bill. It is just to say that whenever we're dealing with legislation, we need to think, yes, about the first order effects, the things that we care about the most, the reasons why that legislation is coming into existence. But we also need to be careful about the second order effects, right? About the externalities, about the knock-on effects, because sometimes you can still have well-meaning legislation that ends up doing harms in ways that maybe could
didn't anticipate.
Predict.
Correct.
So that's one little example. That being said, when I think about the direction of travel here, I do think more consumer protections is certainly a good thing. And if we're being realistic, this law is not reaching the public without heavy scrutiny. Now, if it does reach the public, then it will likely be challenged in both local and federal courts as well. And that's going to mean years
100%.
of fighting before anything really changes here. That is, of course, if
this won't be actually passed and fully legal if it does end up eventually passing for at least a few years. There's no way, period. Like this one is going to be taking this bill in California for stop killing games is going to be taking a lot of time. This isn't going to be like the NIL law that took literally like a year and a half to pass through, and then it went through appeals and then became federal, like basically in essence, where NCAA can't do anything about it. This bill is going to take years because there's a lot of scrutiny both within the government and obviously the companies that are lobbying against it. There's going to be a lot that this bill is going to have to go through to ever get actually passed in California even. And even though if it gets passed there, it might get passed federally one day, it won't be anytime soon.
If it changes at all, which could leave you thinking, the legal system, it takes such a long time that I may as well just stop caring. What's the point of any of this? Well, I can talk a little bit about what the point of this is. This bill may not be the slam dunk consumer rights extravaganza that some people hope for. I'd say it almost certainly won't be that. It may not stop companies from turning off games and leaving players with half of what they paid for, especially because what we've covered now is likely the best version of this bill before it's altered with amendments or watered down through the legislative process. Which, probably will happen, but it will still set precedent. It will still inform the direction things are going in. That kind of does matter. It's a little bit like how the main bill we're talking about today actually builds on the earlier one that we talked about, 2 years ago? The one that was about licenses versus, purchases. That kind of led to, Valve making that clear in the Steam checkout. It's the kind of thing where that progress and that precedent does actually open the door for more legislation. And even outside of California, other states could pick up similar ideas. And
of course,
California's global weight, precedent set there does not stop at the state line. This is not perfect. It is only a start, but you know what? That's actually what progress kind of needs. So often we think that progress is going to be this magical thing. We all have some bill, some law, some politician, some whatever it may be that we kind of fight for and we want to get them in or get the thing passed or whatever it is. And then, of course, you wake up the next day and very little has actually changed. Maybe within 1 or 2 years, very little has actually changed. But if it's going to be 10 years, 15 years,
it's going to be a while.
You do actually see that change compounding. You do see how one bill kind of set up another bill, and while none of them are perfect, it ends up being a bit of an improvement. I know that's not the most crazy, exciting thing, but you know what?
It's what will likely happen in this situation, though.
Type of progress that can actually matter and maybe set some global precedents. And it does seem that Stop Killing Games is actually making progress there. Today, we talked about it in the context of California, and very recently we talked about it in the context of the EU. And if you want to see just how, warmly the EU seems to be receiving a lot of their thoughts and their advocacy, you should check out this video next.
So this is an interesting, let me link and send you guys the link to the video. Love Bellular. Go ahead, throw that like and go check him out. Throw the video a like if you like it. Look, Look, I'm gonna be honest. There are things that I agree with in the movement that I think will benefit gamers in the long run. There's also things I don't agree with. Like I don't agree with everything that's being said in the bill itself. I think that there will definitely be some heavy changes to how the bill is written in a final form or final capacity if it ever gets there. I'm not sure if it ever will in the US, I'll be honest. It is definitely doing significantly better in Europe than here. And that's because the EU is already kind of going at the game industry from like a loot box perspective, gacha games, etc. So they're already trying to regulate the gaming industry. I'm not so sure that's going to happen here. I'm be honest. I don't think it will. Not to the same extent. So I'm not really sure exactly how likely it will be to pass within the next 5 years, let alone maybe like 10 within our country, even in California. So ultimately we'll end up seeing what happens. I'll obviously look at it closely, do updates, etc., talking about it. But yeah, I don't see it actually sticking in our country. I just don't, personally. And honestly, I think that there's the reason for that is because there are flaws within the movement itself with what they're looking to do. I feel like there's some things, I get that there's like, I like the overall underlying purpose of the movement. Some of the requests that they're asking for, I just feel like are going to be pushing anti-growth within the industry that are actually going to end up ultimately hurting the gaming industry as a whole economically. So I feel like that there are certain things that they do need to like look at and change from a microscopic standpoint. So it'll be definitely interesting to see what ends up becoming of Stop Killing Games in the next few years. Like Bellular said, I really do not think that this is going to be something that we see a one and done bill to fix everything. If this does end up getting passed, I do believe that it'll be a bill that gets passed, and then there's like 4 other bills attached to it that get passed down the road later that might make it better. But I'm not so sure in actual legislation, genuinely, that'll actually legitimately benefit gamers. I'll be honest. I think in the capacity that a game will be able to be played offline in its full capacity, probably will. But I think overall, the effects it'll have on the market itself, even with how gaming publishers poorly invest their money, I think it'll have negative impacts overall on growth and development within the community. But I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong, because I like the idea of it, genuinely. I'm just not convinced. Not yet, anyways. So, we'll see. But those are going to be all everything that I end up reviewing today, or reacting today. I think that we did a lot on that in regards to reacting to videos and stuff. Those are the 3 big ones that I really wanted to talk about. I'm hungry. I'm like really, really hungry, but we'll see what I end up eating in a second. But it is getting dark. I need to go take my medicine. And I am going to call it here today. I was thinking about playing some OSRS. I think I might just do that offline, honestly, because I kind of want to go ahead and do some other stuff. And I'm not gonna lie, I kind of want to go. What's the wait? I want to go see who won real quick. Hold on, who won the Pistons game? The Pistons did win. Okay, the Pistons did in fact win. But I want to go finish watching the Canadians and Lightning game, because I've been watching NHL hockey very, very closely. So I'm gonna go do that. I'm gonna go eat some food. We're gonna have some changes this week. So I have friends coming in this week for a concert on Thursday, but they're coming up on Wednesday. So I will not be streaming Wednesday. I'm gonna end up streaming on Tuesday instead, most likely. Not sure what we're gonna be doing yet. I'll figure it out, but we'll be streaming the same time, 4 o'clock, not 4 o'clock, 7 o'clock on Wednesday night, or Tuesday night instead of my Wednesdays I usually stream at, because I'll have obviously friends over. And then from that point on, we'll be back on the typical schedule: Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then the following week we'll be back to our Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday schedule. So we will be playing more Clair Obscure eventually, probably this week. If not, we'll figure it out eventually as to when I'll play it. There are other games on stream I really want to play, so I might end up splitting up a little bit and playing more games all over the map. And I also feel like playing a multiplayer game, so we might see some friends on stream this week. Fingers crossed, hopefully. So we have some exciting things coming up. Appreciate you guys. I'm hungry. It's time for me to go eat some food because I'm hungry. So with that being said, everyone, I hope you guys have a fantastic Sunday. I hope you guys have a great next couple days. I will see you all Tuesday. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Good night, guys. I'll see you guys literally Tuesday, so don't miss me too much.